I really was curious about the general rules that apply to etiquette as it is to when one attends a party, not
I
when
don't
I go to Pat's party, because I know how he feels about things.
I don't think there is a person in our audience who learned something from this that they didn't already know. That's how crazy your stance was.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog. It's the Week 16 picks against the spread, Cust Corner, free money, SUPERLOCKS, and everything else you've come to expect. I hope this frigid temperature is not so bad for you, depending on where you live, but it's not so bad for one Geoff Fienberg, who has a new fucking haircut.
Hey, everyone's got to bend the knee once in a while.
You look nice.
Even me.
You look nice.
Yeah, listen, I can clean up good. I can clean up good. Yeah, getting ready for the holidays. Getting out of here, going to Florida. Looking forward to it. But yeah, cleaned up nice.
When do you take off to go to Florida?
Week today. So Christmas Eve. Which is a
Okay.
nice day for a Jew to travel.
So everyone should be made aware of the scheduling change for next week for the Spread Pick Show. We're going to split it into two parts, but it's going to come out Monday evening and Tuesday evening, or maybe even Tuesday afternoon if you really want to get in your Christmas Eve Spread Picks. We're going to be doing that for the next 2 weeks because the Wednesdays fall on Christmas and New Year's, and we just don't really want to record up onto late on Christmas. My wife told me, don't film late on Christmas Eve. And I was like, you know what? That's probably a good shout. Probably can't do that. So we're going to film it on Mondays the next 2 weeks. Sunday Night Live will still be around, so please tune in live to that at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And Geoff, me, you, and Kenny Kim will be dropping a year in review golf show next Monday morning for the peoples.
Yes, I've started putting the hamster on the wheel.
That's
I've
good
had a lot
because we
of-
recorded in
I've
like 3
enjoyed-
hours.
Yeah, no, I've spent some time watching what might have been the worst football game I ever watched last night, even though there were two. That Atlanta game, I like dove right into the categories, got the brain working, relived some horrible memories, like retracing the season. Truth be told.
Well, the race to golf season has begun. I released my interview with PGA Tour player Michael Kim last night. That's out on the feed. And the Model Maniac, Byron, and I went through all of the PGA best ball strategies. We did some drafts live on the show. That's up on the audio and video on Mayo Media Network and the Pat Mayo Experience right now. Code Mayo at Underdog will get you that deposit bonus of up to $1,000, and it'll give you a free pick in the Pick'em game as well. Additionally, Geoff, the one and done is now 20% full. I got my dad his entry for Christmas as something that we can talk about together. You know, I mean, what do you talk about with your dad?
The Chargers a bit, football, just how other family are doing. I don't know. This is not. It's just I guess it's turning into some therapy. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing like too serious. I don't know that he'd want to do something like that. This is kind of out of his realm. But I will say, on the note, getting out of this province that is Ontario, I can't wait. When I get out of here, signing up for the one and done, donations. I'm the worst at it ever. But also filling out underdog lineups in Florida, in the sun, getting ready, like hammering for golf. That I cannot wait. Like, I'm supposed to be like keeping an eye on the kids in the pool, but I will be drafting. Hopefully Dave Portnoy isn't supposedly around the corner.
You can't leave the kid by the pool if Dave Portnoy's around. Then you're just out of there. I mean, you'd beat Cust in the 100-yard dash if that was the case, if there was a Portnoy lookalike down the street. But fantasygolfchampionships.com to get yourself into the one and done. It's $250 for the year. I think it works out to be like $7 a week. There's $1 million in guaranteed money in that. The only reason I bring this up, because A, I think it's a great Christmas gift for your dad. It's like me and my dad spend 15 minutes a week talking about the pick that he's going to make. That's like 14 minutes more than we talk every single week. So it's a good opportunity to really bridge that chasm if you have nothing to talk about. It's $250. It works well as a Christmas gift. And if you get your entry now and you send me a screenshot, I'm going to do a Christmas Day giveaway of an additional free entry. You can have up to 5. In order to be in this draw, you already need to have purchased one of them. But then if you get your name pulled on Christmas Day, then boom, you have another entry into the one and done. So I'd highly recommend you do that. It fills very quickly. It starts at the Sony. The PGA Best Ball for Underdog starts at the Century, which is like 2 days into the new year. So get on that. Byron I strategy session is out. Okay, that's enough housekeeping for right now. Let's bring them in.
But that or not, it's just a great gift for anyone, even a friend. Like, that's a great gift. Someone got me that.
Gift for yourself.
Like, imagine, like, Tim, you should keep some of those in the drawer near your front door. I think I just ruined the intro. But they go better than Subway gift cards if you need gifts at the door, I guess what I'm saying.
That's true. Go to fantasygolfchampionship.com, buy an entry, print it out, and then give it to someone as a holiday gift. That is the perfect idea, Geoff. We'll see if the man of the hour agrees. It is Tim Cust.
Tim Cust.
That's not my name. No, this year, if you spend $25 for a gift card at McDonald's, they give you a free Big Mac or a free McChicken. So that's the move this year.
You're the mark.
And honestly, you can say what you want about a Subway gift card. You don't want that. I bet you 95% of people, if you give them a McDonald's gift card, will be like, I can use that. That I have a practical purpose for. That's not strange at all. So that's just a great tip for the people.
I don't know anyone who gets a McDonald's gift card that isn't a child. Like, that's something to put in like
I get one every year.
It's a weird, it's very practical. Like, I agree. And my mother-in-law, I'm hard to shop for, and she doesn't know anything. So she just gets me like fast food gift cards now, and I'm so happy. No, I mean, like, if she tried, like, that stuff, those like, don't get these golf gifts. That's what I meant. If it was like, if she tried to get me something Chargers or something golf, I guarantee you I would hate it.
Oh, I get golf gifts from like family members, and it's just all stuff I would never use, that no one would ever use.
Exactly.
But like, even if you just like coffee, you can just go to McDonald's for coffee on your gift card. You don't have to buy anything else. It's a very utilitarian gift for people.
It's a little strange.
Okay,
but if you know someone well enough, it's okay.
Here, let me throw it back to you. Why get them? You want to get the McDonald's gift card because you want a free Big Mac. Why wouldn't you just get them like a Visa gift card where they can just spend the money anywhere?
Well, why not? They get a gift they can use, and I get something from it too.
Because that way they can use that money anywhere.
Well, then you might as well just give somebody cash.
Okay, then get them cash. Just have a roll of 20s for people when they come and hand them a bill.
I think it makes more sense to give people cash than a Visa gift card. But I still think that if you're going to give a gift card, McDonald's is like a very neutral one. Like, there are very, very, very few people for whom that wouldn't be usable.
I mean, if I'd use it for my kids.
Sure, you can use it for whatever you want.
You could even it's an easy regift.
Yeah, I don't agree with
it's a super easy regift. Like, we just went through.
Give it to like a teacher or the crossing guard or the mailman. Or the bus driver. It's one of those easy things.
We just
did
did
dog groomer or whatever.
We just did a purge of our cards. 2 days ago, my wife and I sat down. She like opened up this like big thing of like old, I don't know, like whatever old cards that we have, and we just went through. We had like, I don't know, 50 gift cards that we haven't used. So we had to go like check to see how much was on them. And we can just re-gift those this year. It's great.
No,
we've got probably a ton of those. You have kids, like an easy gift is like the drugstore or something like that. Yeah, I should purge. I'm an idiot. Purge the cards. It's probably expired. I'm such a moron.
Yeah, we actually found a Visa gift card that was expired in 2020. It's been a while.
You could gift for you. There you are with a McDonald's coffee in your hand.
Yeah, Paul picked it up for me. Paul always goes. It's easier for Paul to go to McDonald's on his way here. When I pick up coffee, it's easier for me to pick up Tim Hortons. Although I prefer the McDonald's coffee.
Don't say that too loud.
Paul, yes.
It's not entirely true. It's probably equal distance. It's about as easy, but you get points on the app with McDonald's, and then I basically get a free coffee for Jared by buying coffees this way.
Easy stuff.
Yeah, look, I endorse it. I think it's great. Getting a McDonald's gift cards for people this year makes a lot of sense.
Okay, I have to ask you. you want to buy these gift cards so you can get yourself free food at McDonald's. You want
Not
to.
the reason I'm doing it.
I mean, it's very clearly the reason you're doing it.
I'm
You
buying the gift cards to give away as gifts.
you like to use the app because you get like so many points and you get free purchases out of this. But you won't use a credit card for your purchases, which will give you free points or cash back.
I'm not going to do that. No,
It
He
seems
just wants
fine.
McDonald's points.
I'm fine.
he's gonna fly first class to nowhere on his McDonald's points.
I don't
But,
plan to
it's
go
very
anywhere.
hold on though. Like it is very disingenuous for you to claim that it's like you're just doing it for your free sandwich.
Yeah,
No, I'm purchasing gifts for people.
You're
not.
not
You're-
purchasing gifts for people. You're buying a stack of McDonald's gift cards. How is that purchasing gifts for people?
Because you're going to give those gift cards away
Yeah, but-
as gifts. Do I really have to spell this out for you?
Wait,
No,
but,
but
you
you
but why are McDonald's? Okay, let me ask you this: why are McDonald's gift cards in 2024 such a great idea? Considering you bought Subway gift cards for everyone when they were giving you a free sub all of like the past 10 years. Why
Look,
did
if you're going to get a gift card from somebody, let me put myself in the shoes of others. If I was to receive a gift card from somebody, I would want them to give me a gift card where they were able to get something out of it on their end too. That's what I would prefer, unless I had a strong preference for where I get that gift card from, and I don't. I'd want the person purchasing that gift card for me to get some sort of benefit out of it as well. It's like a 2-for-1. So since I would feel that way, I think others would feel that way as well.
Paul has his
I
hand up
actually
for
think the
this.
person getting the gift card wants the free Big Mac coupon as well. That's actually proper
that's
etiquette.
not going to happen.
Why?
But that's the etiquette. That's the etiquette.
We'll talk about etiquette later. I have a whole segment to
Yeah,
talk
but
about
you're-
etiquette.
you're-
Questions for Geoff.
Well, there was a tweet that I saw come out was, what did the guy say? That he lent his buddy $500 and the guy made a $500 bet with the money that he borrowed from the guy and won like 10 grand. And so he paid him back the $500 and the guy was pissed he didn't split the winnings with him. Once you give the gift, like the fact that you got the $500 back when you lent it to someone for gambling purposes is shocking to begin with. Now, if it was me, I'd probably give the guy like $1,000 or something if I won.
No, but
10
it's like
grand.
when we bought our friend scratch cards for his birthday.
Yeah.
Like if he wins big on those scratch cards, I'm not coming around to collect. It's like, congratulations.
I agree.
No, but I've gotten someone lottery tickets and been like if you win the jackpot, like you gotta like nibble, like you're gonna pay out the dealer.
I listen. I think that it would. Listen, I
were the winner.
would do it too. I think most people would do it depending on the sum, and they would, it would be some sort of percentage of whatever it was. If someone won $60 million, maybe they throw you $1 million or something like that. That'd be fine. Or if they win 10 grand, you double what the guy lent you. You give him $1,000, the 500
Yeah,
back,
but if you
and an
take the
extra
case to
500.
your,
But you shouldn't.
You took it to your barrister and said, "Here, I want to take him to court because I gave him the $500." I don't think you have a case.
I don't think
It
so
is
either.
so
And,
weird.
and I wouldn't.
Did he
it's
know
not-
he was gambling?
I no, I don't think so.
Because that would be like if you lent a buddy down on their luck $500 and they used it to gamble, wouldn't you be fucking pissed? Even if they won a little bit, like
No.
Don't ever lend a friend money that you don't think is going to evaporate into $0. That is rule of thumb number 1 on lending money. Don't ever expect to see
Yeah,
that money again.
yeah, I guess you just someone's like, oh my like I don't know. I could message my like if I like a legit concern like, oh no, my PayPal is down. Can you just deposit 500 for me and bet it? Is different than can you borrow 500? Can I borrow $500, buddy? I need $500. And then you find out that person gambled with the $500.
I mean, I would rather they gamble it. I once had a friend ask me for $400 for rent money towards the end of the month, and he just bought an 8-ball with it and had a bit of money left over, I suppose. But I was like, well, I'm not seeing that money again. She gone. By the next day, it was gone.
I'd rather a 4-game parlay.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I would prefer. Yeah, he throws it on Underdog, uses code Mayo, gets himself a nice deposit bonus, and maybe 20 times his money. Who knows? But that was not the case. Went straight up his nose.
Put it all on black. I need to borrow $500. Okay. Put it all on black, please.
I got to tell you, it probably would have been a better investment in this circumstance.
Exactly.
Let's recap last week. Everyone had a good week. Everyone was above 500. Geoff, you and I tied at 9-7. Cust was 10-6, so he moves back up a game. So you are now 5 behind Tim. I'm 6 behind Tim. And the coin also went 10-6 to move 4 games up on Tim, 9 on Geoff, and 10 on me. I lost my super lock for the 3rd straight week. Geoff, you won. Tim, you lost. So it's 11-4, 8-6, and 9-6. And Tim, not only did Washington get me on my super lock, which is they also got you on your teaser at -1.
Yeah.
So I had a lovely Sunday, but I made a teaser that I thought was the play. And I'm like, I can't wait to talk to Pizzola. I'm teasing through 0.
Oh, no.
I'm teasing through 0. I teased. Thankfully, I did it Washington to 1 and not 1.5, but I did Washington to 1 and the Eagles to like whatever. And clearly it was the wrong move, but the teaser paid better than the money line.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, this is the right move. This is the right move. But then in the end, I had to get Eagles just to push the 2-gamer.
And if you had the money line, you would have won.
Yeah. So I was like, I can't wait to tell Pizzola I teased through 0 today for a better price. And then, like, look at what fucking happened.
This is basically your version of me telling people the trackpad is more effective than the mouse. Thinking that I've discovered something when I actually haven't.
I just got the notification that Rob's Christmas gift and housewarming gift is showing up, Geoff.
Yes, Rob on the move. He had to move on like the coldest day, windiest day ever, which had to suck. Now, I don't think he moved, but you're still like observing and there and, you know, running in and out a lot. And even if the mover's got all the big stuff, I'm sure your own car is filled with like 100 knickknacks. So that had to suck. But yeah, congrats to Rob on his move, leveling up.
You don't think that Rob was like, you know, him and his dad were carrying armoires from house to house?
No. I wasn't implying Rob was like getting his friends to move for him and his family with pizza and beer. But I'm just saying, moving sucks. Moving's the worst. And to like do it on what was like the coldest day we've had in a long time and the windiest day, that had to suck. That's all. But he's in now. So all's good. And his present is arriving. So congrats.
Let's jump into the games. We got Thursday Night Football. The Denver Broncos at the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers by 3 is the score right now. It's funny, Geoff, that Chargers lose to Tampa. Although I told you, if you give me that win, the Chargers can win out. So they're probably going to win this game because I promised that to you. The Broncos looked really bad and ended up annihilating the Colts. The moment Jonathan Taylor dropped that touchdown crossing the goal line, it was curtains for the Colts. It was all Denver after that. But the Chargers just looked bad. And the Chargers have looked bad now for a few weeks in a row. I'm guessing like Herbert's not fully healthy. McConkey's not fully healthy. They have no running game to speak of. Is there something wrong with their offensive line too? Because they're giving up more pressures now than they have all season.
Well, the interior sucks. And these good defensive ends are just blowing through the inside. So, like, they realize, like, let's just swarm the middle. And the pressure's coming from the middle. And Herbert is playing banged up. And there was a moment in that game where, I mean, I was watching it close, but he got sacked by Levante David near the end of the first half. And the camera angle was, like, really kind of, like, could see his face. And as he was going down, his, like, face just, like, withered in pain. And that was the ankle. And then from that, every throw was off his back foot. And it was like a fucking bullshit. Even Mark Sanchez doing the game said like he was watching Herbert all pregame and like he didn't look right. And then when Herbert like started the game well, he's like that maybe that's adrenaline, but I don't know what either what I saw before the game was a lie or that's just adrenaline. And then as the game played out, it seemed that way. The NFL season, it's like an organism. And the Chargers are not above being dog walked. They are not good enough, especially with the injuries. When things start to add up, a decent, half-decent team will dog walk them. And to your point, Pat, I mean, looking back on it, they are so blessed to have beaten the Falcons because they got outgained in that a while. So it's been a run of about 3 weeks of really not good football. They are grasping for air. That week 5 bye feels like a season ago. So on maybe there's a positive that whatever happens here, the mini bye, no one needs a mini bye more than the Chargers. But fuck, seeing Herbert get like banged up or may even re-aggravate or make something worse, not make something better. They can't in a game against Tampa, knowing we had to play 4 days later. Like I had Ajita watching the fucking second half, the fourth quarter. Well, the whole second half. But once the blowout was in the bag, it's like, just let's go home. Harbaugh's calling timeouts. I'm like dying. I'm like, let's go home. I want everyone off the field. I want to go home. They can't run for shit. Like, I don't know whether J.K. Dobbins is better than we thought, but he could run. He could catch. He got 4 yards on a carry. It allowed the Chargers to just not have to be down in distance with an injured quarterback against a team that blitzed their face off. Gus Edwards is pig mode. It is pig mode. We may as well just like line up 2nd and 9.5 instead of actually running the play. Like, let's, hit the button. It's 2nd 9.5. Let's go from here. It's painful. And we're down bad at the moment. And we got to play on a Thursday. Now, that being said, if they could survive this, everyone is supposed to come back.
Disley probably is out. I mean, survive like this stretch for the playoffs.
Yeah, like survive. Yeah, sorry, that's what I mean. Yeah, this week, no. But like Perryman, Disley, Gilman, I'm Dobbins, Cam Hart got hurt on Saturday, on Sunday. So yeah, but I don't know. Thank God, Denver. I thank you. You won that game. Thank you, Jonathan Taylor. The Colts win, the Chargers lose. The playoff probability is like, I'm scared shitless. And I need Tim to do me a favor. If the Colts, because I think the Colts can run the table as bad as they are from their schedule. I actually think if the Colts and Chargers both finish 9-6, the Colts get the spot. Because I looked at common opponent. I couldn't find this officially, but I stared at the schedule for common opponents, and the Colts actually beat Pittsburgh. And we really haven't played anyone else other than Denver. But yeah, I don't know. Chargers are down bad. I'm surprised the spread is 3. That gives me confidence. Not confidence, but I thought it would be closer to less than the Chargers getting the field goal based on some circumstances here. But credit to Denver. What an incredible season. Even if they look like shit, they're gonna do really well when I rank these suckers, because I've been thinking about that. But that's for I'm excited to see how this team will respond with this coach in this spot. But I don't know. I'm nervous as fuck, really.
What do you make of it, Tim? Like, where you're like, the one thing that we noticed about Tampa Bay against the Chargers was Baker was just throwing lasers all over the field. It didn't seem like the Chargers had an answer for it.
I continue to be concerned, and have been for a while, that the Chargers don't score enough points to be a legitimately competitive team against really good teams. Yeah. The only games they can be in are like those games they played against the Chiefs this year, or against the Falcons, where they just need to strangle you, and they need to win a game 20-17. Denver is a perfect opponent for that, though. Denver is a team that has some offense, but also doesn't need to get into shootouts every week. I think this is a very fair line. I will take the Chargers here, but with no particular confidence, other than, the Chargers can lock up the AFC playoffs with a win. The Broncos are in.
Clinch.
Broncos have already essentially clinched.
Yeah, you're right. Fair enough. But they got to put their hat. They got to put a hat on my watch. Which
I mean, I think. Look, I look at the game. I think the Chargers still have a little bit more skill on their side. Certainly think they're better coached. I think they have a better quarterback, even though I don't think Herbert's 100%. So all those things. I mean, with no particular confidence, I would pick the Chargers.
It is annoying.
I'm going to take Denver. I would, before I bet this game, I'd want to see what the injury report says. Like, if Patrick Surtain is for sure playing, it doesn't seem like Jaleel McLaughlin's going to go, although you can just plug in any running back whatsoever. I saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire got cut by the Chiefs, Geoff. Do you think the Chargers should get him?
We'll play on a Thursday?
Yeah, just throw him in there.
Listen, the Chargers, what everyone was kind of obvious to the naked eye before is like what Tim said. and then there were points in the season when Herbert was healthy and they were playing some bad teams. They put up some points, but they gutted those skill positions. They were $100 million over the cap and they had to gut it. Now, do I think they miss Allen, Williams, Eckler? Like, I think it's probably smart the Chargers proactively wanted to reset the positions, but they have to fill those rooms because there's like it's whatever Greg Roman is calling. Clearly, teams at this point in the year, there's enough of it on tape where they can sort of see what we want to do. And let's be real, even on the right play call, some of these receivers, they can't win a matchup. They can't get open, even on a 1-on-1. So 70 million from 100 million under last year to 70 million with room this year, and another draft class. Yeah, that is part of it. I don't even care about seed because, to Tim's point, I don't think the Chargers got a playoff chance, but I desperately want to make the playoffs. Even if it comes with going to Buffalo and getting dog walked, I absolutely need this team to make the playoffs, because to not make the playoffs would be its own mini 5-week second half in Jacksonville.
So I played around, Geoff, if you're curious. I played around with where things stand, and you don't beat the Colts or Dolphins in a 9-8 tiebreak, but you do beat the Bengals in a 9-8 tiebreak from what I can see.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about the Dolphins running the table. The schedule is not.
I mean, I wouldn't even be worried about the Chargers. You get the Patriots and Raiders the final 2 weeks of the season. Those should be 2 wins.
I'm always worried.
I get that you're always worried, but even if you lose this game, it's not like, the sky is falling. The interesting thing about this, weirdly enough, which would be kind of crazy for the Steelers, that if the Steelers win this week, and Denver wins, Denver leapfrogs Baltimore with a better record for the 5 seed.
That's really funny. That is good. And someone told me, I usually know these things. They don't have them on the schedule, but next week the league is planning on making a couple Saturday games.
This happens a lot, actually, where 5 games are designated as potential Saturday games, and of those 5, 3 will get picked. And given the Sunday night game next week is Dolphins Browns, there's no way that game is the Sunday night football game. So something is going to get flexed into that game as well.
But they're playing next week on Wednesday.
Those teams are not eligible.
No, I know, but next week we're going to have games on 5 different days.
Yeah, we're going to have
Wednesday,
games
Thursday,
on Wednesday,
Friday, Saturday,
Thursday,
Sunday, Monday.
No Friday. Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
And apparently the Bengals-Broncos game is going to Saturday.
I could see that, and I suspect, looking at the schedule for Week 17, that Packers-Vikings will go to Sunday night, because I think Fox would defend Eagles-Cowboys.
Yeah,
all right.
Probably have to.
The
Chargers are bleeding out.
Washington and Atlanta could go to Sunday night too. And that would be a good opportunity to get Daniels on prime time.
Well, and that's a good one too, because I did see something before we came on that if Atlanta wins its next 2 games, they're huge favorites this week, whoever the hell they're playing. And if they win the next 2, so if they win this week and they beat Washington in that game, they have a 71% chance of making the playoffs, as a 7 seed.
Well, yeah, because then they beat Washington in every tiebreak for the wild card. So yeah. Absolutely. But if the Atlanta team we saw last night, which to Jeff's point was one of the worst football games ever, which is saying something because the second worst football game ever was also taking place at around the same time. That Atlanta team is just pitiful to the point when we get to them against the Giants. I can't in good conscience pick Atlanta to cover that number or maybe even win. That might be a loss. Straight up loss. Get out of here.
Geoff,
outdoors in December, go home.
Jeff, it's not outdoors in December. It's in
Atlanta.
It's Atlanta. I bet the Raiders to win the game 6-1 at halftime when they were down by 6 points. And I feel like I would go back and make the bet again, even though I know how the game ended up. Now, I didn't expect the Raiders to be like, hey, we're down by double digits. Let's run up the middle every play. That was probably not a great choice.
And I also thought the Falcons running on that 3rd and 6 near midfield, how did they not just like, let's just kill 40 seconds and pump them to the 5? Like they never get, I don't know. Because then when they get to the 20, there's those 30 seconds left. But yeah, that was just deplorable. I have long been that I feel like the Falcons just need to finish the season with Kurt. It's getting worse.
But they still
Like,
have
it
a
is-
chance here. Like, why not make the move? Like you just saw it. Like
Yeah, you twisted my arm.
We gave like because we've been talking about this for a month now, and now it's a big topic on all the talking head shows. For is it the move to go to Penix? So the plan was let's play Cousins. He played these 3 good defenses in a row, and he absolutely reeked. Now he gets Vegas without Max Crosby, and he also looks like absolute dog shit. Like you got to make the move. You have to. Like, he had the chance against a bad team to light them up, and he looked really bad.
I was against you on this for a few weeks. Like even after the Charger game, I was like, no, they're pot committed. I'm on your side now. I don't know how you can watch another Steve Nash bounce pass. Like I don't know how. Penix is like bouncing on the sidelines. He would extend the pocket. He'd throw a freaking missile. It would be, yeah, I don't know. It could almost be lightning in a bottle. Like, not that they'd win anything. They'd go on like a little, like, quick 2-3 week run. Absolutely. Oh, I'm turned. Kurt, you're done.
And
maybe I'm the last one to the party, but it's got to happen.
But even to Tim's point about Rodgers, and he is right, Rodgers has looked better the past 3 weeks. Like he actually looks like he's closer to full health than at any point than we've seen him all year long. Maybe. Well, when did Rodgers tear his Achilles? Last September, Tim?
Yeah, September.
So now we're 15 months out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Cousins is just still on that timeline where he's just not he's just not capable of throwing the ball right now.
That could absolutely be the case.
That maybe next September he turns back into old Kirk Cousins and he's fine. Like that could be a thing, but he's just not there right now. And you don't want him to play through it with the playoffs on the line because it's not like they can tank and get a really high pick, which they'd spend on some weird skill position guy who doesn't do anything for them anyway. Like just put Penix in, see what he's got.
And I shouldn't have held on as long as I had because coming out of the Charger game, I said, like, you guys are all talking about the interceptions. You should see the incompletions. Like everything out of his hand is lifeless. Or it sails. It's a sad state. And when he makes like a good 4-yard pass, Orlovsky and Riddick are like glazing him.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins has entered the Bryce Young zone of any time he does anything good. It's like, oh my God, it's the best player I've ever seen.
But at the same time, Riddick is like, okay, let's get him going. Call play action. And they're like, okay, it's play action. This is it. And then it's the worst pass ever. And like everyone is just exasperated to the point, Pat, I saw they ran on first down, actually 24 of 25 first downs last night. Like they don't even try now.
So they're basically the Texans.
Yeah.
All right, I'm taking Denver. The coin's taking Denver. You two are taking the Chargers?
Yeah, this is the night before my birthday. They flexed this game, so we've had to cancel like dinner plans.
I think there's a strong chance, Geoff, you don't play on Sunday again. I think you're gonna play next Saturday. You're gonna be one of the Saturday games next week. That Patriots Chargers game because
you know why I would
play May, and you have playoff potential. And I think given the Chargers circumstance where it's a win and in, lose and out, they're one of the Saturday night doubleheaders. In week 18 as well.
No. Do you know why that is bad? Because I need every day of that mini buy.
No, I'm just saying. I look at that.
I need every day of that mini buy, and I have to travel across the country.
And so you were selected as one of the teams that could be on Saturday. That Patriots Chargers game, I think, a Saturday afternoon makes a lot of sense. And then I think you play in the doubleheader because it's a win and in, lose and out situation for the Chargers.
Locked my arms behind my head when you told me I'm getting flexed up again because I need every day. This team needs every minute of a mini buy.
Just saying, I think you're going Thursday, Saturday to finish. I really think that.
Yeah, let's go to Saturday then. Houston at Kansas City. Still don't know whether or not Mahomes is going to play. This spread reached as high as 3 in favor of the Texans in Kansas City on Monday night. Now it's back down to 2 with rumblings that Mahomes might try to power through this and play. It's difficult to cap this, thinking that Carson Wentz might end up being the starter for the Chiefs at home. But here's the thing, Tim. Even if it is Carson Wentz, do you just take the Chiefs as underdogs at home because their defense might just win this game?
I think you just take the Chiefs out of principle because Mahomes very well may play in the game.
I think I'm with you.
It's a value play. And it's such a value play that we tease the Chiefs up. They're the first part of a teaser this week.
Yeah, smart, maybe.
Yeah, there's not really much you can lend to this. Like, this is the weird thing is, like, maybe this is finally the week that Houston gets it going. They win by like 20 points against Carson Wentz. People are like, oh, got to watch out for sleeper Texans. But every week you watch them, like, yeah, their defense looks all right, but they couldn't move the ball against Miami, man. That's a brutal scene.
No, neither team can move the ball right now. Both of these teams are offensively challenged. So why would we expect this to be anything other than an under and a very tight game? And if it's going to be a very low-scoring tight game, and it's outdoors, which is not conducive for the Texans, why wouldn't you take the points in what will probably be an extremely close game and a very low-scoring game? And if Mahomes plays, I don't think it makes a huge difference in terms of like the low scoringness. I just think it makes the Chiefs that much more likely to win.
Yeah, if Mahomes is announced as the starter on Friday, Geoff, what do you think the spread moves to? Chiefs minus 2.5, 3?
Probably Chiefs minus 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just trying to think, who have the Chiefs been that are like, who's the Chiefs played at home that's half decent recently? What was the spread? Like the Chargers got 4.5.
How do they justify playing Mahomes this week and then on a short week on Christmas? I just don't know how you do that.
Well, maybe
so that's where I am. That's where I am. That's where I am.
You can say that, but you can also be 4 days later, Mahomes is walking around fine. You're like, oh yeah, like just I needed to make sure it stopped swelling, and now it's okay. Like, if he's okay, are you not going to play him?
Even if these guys aren't okay, I'm not comparing
not.
the players. I'm not comparing the players at all.
This isn't the NBA. He's just not going to randomly take off week 16 if he's going to play. Like, if he's able to play,
like week 18. But you can treat it like week 18.
But NFL teams don't do that.
Well,
they don't. What's the last instance of that you can remember?
Pat's not wrong. Like, I
bet the Chargers, injured like this, where they can actually, they have a freebie. Right, you have one freebie here. The Chiefs can afford to lose a game, and it makes zero difference.
Yeah, but you could also be the Chiefs looking at it like, hey, yeah, maybe there is a freebie because we do have a loss to give up, but we also don't want to lose because then then we have to play in week 18.
Worst case scenario, you play in week 18. They won 2 road playoff games to get to the Super Bowl last year. I think Mahomes' health is actually the only thing that matters.
And if the doctors say he's fine and he says he's fine, then he's gonna play.
He's not going to be fine. He has a sprain. He's not going to be fine.
Sure, he played through 3 months of an ankle sprain last year and won the Super Bowl.
Just saying, it seems extremely irresponsible of the Chiefs to play him in 2 games in 4 days if their plan is to win a Super Bowl.
So the Chiefs,
imagine Tim running your team, Geoff. You'd just be like, "Oh no, you broke a fingernail, can't play this week." Like, this is football.
Unfortunately, you're talking to the wrong guy because we were in Montreal in September.
You said shut Herbert down.
I didn't even want Herbert to play week 4 with what essentially felt was the same situation Mahomes had with the Chargers, like the ankle injury. The Chargers had a bye after that game. These guys have to play on Wednesday. Now, I almost feel like you got to take the Chiefs because you hit 2 boxes here. And I don't mind Chiefs, the teaser aspect of it, because it's a good team. Either you're getting Mahomes or you're getting a great team with the backup. And I can't resist that. Like, this is the ultimate best team of the time with the backup. I hope Andy Reid would have something for them. The Chiefs are in a situation here, though, because of the NFL's desire to swallow the NBA whole. We are playing on a Wednesday. That is so messed up. But to Pat's point, these guys, if they feel like they're good to go, they play.
Yeah, football players are not wired the same way. I mean, it's the same as hockey players. If hockey players can play, hockey players are gonna play. If football players can play, they're gonna play. That's just how they're wired. It's just different between sports.
Yeah, so, and the history of watching this league and the quarterback position in this recent time, like, if they feel like they can go, they go. And so I don't know what's going to happen. I think they should. If I was a Chiefs fan, I'm crazy enough to think they should rest him. but I'm
I
like
just
a
think if he's
delicate
not
flower.
100%, we'll play him Christmas Day. But maybe, we won't play him in this game. He's not 100%. We don't want to take any chances. I think that's a very likely scenario. And
Like,
obviously
it's
the books
4
think so too.
days.
Obviously the books think so too because the Chiefs are dogs. So.
But now
Did you guys say what you think the line?
But that spread is coming back down now that they're starting to think like, oh, maybe Mahomes might play now. Like I think they thought he was going to
What
be
was the
out.
high? What was it? Was it higher than this?
No, when we did it on Sunday night, it was 1.5. Then it jumped to 3. Now it's back down to 2.
And it's 2.5 some places as well.
And if it's official, he's out. What do you say?
3.
This is already the non-Mahomes
No,
line.
I
think
think
I can't imagine it's much higher than that.
I think it jumps back up to 3 if there's no Mahomes.
It could
And
get to 3.
do you think we can get a prop bet on left-handed shovel passes from Carson Wentz if that's the case?
I actually think Carson Wentz is going to play well.
It's me too, actually.
Because he's been under Andy Reid now for a while, and I actually think he has, of course, some potential. He had once upon a time he was like leading for the MVP of the league before an injury, and that wasn't that long ago. So can he be good enough to beat a challenged Texans team? Yeah, I think so. If Tua didn't throw 500 interceptions on Sunday, the Dolphins would have won pretty easily.
Unfortunately, Carson Wentz does suffer from like little T-Rex arm throws like Kirk Cousins and Tua, though. So that might be a bad scene. He loves short-arming throws.
I'm gonna pick
And flicking it.
I actually can't. I'm too principled in the good team with the backup.
Yeah.
I got it. I'm just too principled in that. I can't swerve off it. I do like for the AFC, I would like to see the Chiefs have to play this out because they play Denver week 18. And I don't want them to not want to have to play in that game. So I would love to see them lose, but I'm going to pick them.
I would like to see them lose as well. It's almost the same reason why I wanted the Bills to beat the Lions last week. Like if the Lions lose, it just makes the NFC ultimately just more interesting coming down the stretch. I think if the Chiefs lose and the Texans win, it just makes everything, because like let's say Baltimore beats the Steelers this week and Houston beats Kansas City, then you have Baltimore, Houston, and Pittsburgh, and maybe even Denver if they went on Thursday, all at 10-5 in the AFC. And then you have the Bills 1 game back of the Chiefs as well if they beat the Patriots. Like it just creates more excitement for at least the seeding becomes interesting in the AFC where there's just really no interest outside of can the Colts run the table and can the Chargers lose out? I mean, the Chargers have like a 91% chance of making the playoffs. Like that's a very unlikely
It's like
scenario.
80, it's like 85, but I only think about the doomsday scenarios. All I think about is doomsday scenarios.
Well, I can't imagine you in week 18 going into Las Vegas and losing a game to make the playoffs. Never happened before.
Maybe they could tie. Maybe they could agree a gentleman's agreement on a tie.
They learned their
Do you wanna-
lesson from 3 years ago.
Do you want to actually know something? I haven't even shared this because I don't even know how to I don't even know what to make of it. And I was caught so off guard by it. But Brandon Staley's brother
Oh my God.
DM'd me.
What?
I swear, I'm going to, you know what? I'll send it to Paul right now. This is, I swear to God, like, it's
Is the Twitter
No,
handle?
it's not a troll. It's not a troll.
Is it at
It's
the
not a
real
troll.
Brandon Staley's brother?
Yeah.
No. This isn't a troll. This isn't a troll at all. I
Like,
this
has
is
Brandon
absolute-
Staley ever like acknowledged this guy on social media?
Yeah, of
Okay.
course. This is his brother.
Okay,
This is his
fair.
brother, and I'm weird like that. Like I like to see. I just sent it to Paul, but I'll send it to the group.
Are you back in,
asked-
now that his brother has reached out to you? Are you back in on Brendan Staley because that's all it takes with you?
No, buddy, I don't fuck around. I just knocked something over here. Shit. Did my audio just go out?
No, I'm reading it right now. This is a crazy person answer, Geoff. You can put it up on the screen.
Just give me 1 second.
But I want Paul. I swear that's a real person. But I don't know why. I've never spoken to him in my life.
Unbelievable, Geoff.
Well, maybe when you keep tagging his brother at the FBI for his defensive. Hey, you know what's funny? I was going over this with Jake on Monday's show. It's such a different audience, by the way, for Jake's show and this show, but more on that later. But San
Did
Francisco
you do rankings?
No, Dad. San Francisco's 6th in defensive DVOA this year, Geoff.
Whatever. They get dog walked in the last 2 minutes. It sounds familiar.
Just I thought that was interesting for you saying that he's the absolute nut low, and their defense has been okay. Now they have good players, that helps, but it's just funny that his brother has now reached out to you, and you're trolling his brother now
Why are you reaching out to me?
because you're trying to get his
What?
brother.
Like what?
You're trying
Did
to get
your
his brother
brother?
arrested.
Did you know anyone? Did you know anyone who went to summer camp in Ontario? Like, I don't understand.
So now you are fighting with the potential
Not a
people.
fight. Not a
Okay.
fight. I just I am not. I don't
We have
know
a
what
late-
it was about.
We have a late entry into Jeff's biggest rivals.
Brandon
It's
Staley,
Sure, I don't
it's
even
been
know.
noted.
Never spoken.
It's been noted already.
We've never spoken before. I
Well,
don't
you
even
have
know.
now.
I guess so. I
Used your
didn't know
first
it.
opportunity speaking with him to troll his brother.
What is he looking for from me?
I don't know. He thought your
I'm
joke.
not looking for anything.
He thought your joke was clever. That's what he said.
Maybe he hates Brandon
But
too.
I mean, what?
Yeah, maybe he's like Aaron Rodgers' brother. He hates his brother. He wants to
No,
team
they
up
all-
with
they
you.
love each other.
How do
they
you
love
know?
each other.
You said you didn't know anything about this guy. Now you know his sibling
I
relationship.
said we never spoke. No, that's not true. I said we never spoken.
So you've been
But I
stalking him.
follow. If anything, he is. I mean, stalking. Like on the internet.
Were you following Brandon Staley's brother on Twitter before this?
No, now I am.
Oh. Maybe it's just a clever way to pick up followers by him.
I have no idea, but I was not going. I was. I just. I don't know. I didn't know what he wanted, so I was going to get something off my chest.
Tim, does this ever happen with you? Is like
Never.
people from
Never,
the Jets
ever.
organization sliding into your DMs?
No, none of
No,
this.
this is not part of the organization.
No, but you used to have the communication with the owner's son of the
Oh,
Chargers.
yes. Yeah. No, we're still.
which is now just Jeff writing things to him and him not responding.
Hey, buddy. We got a line. Don't worry. Promises made, promises kept.
All right. Round of Kansas City for us in this game. We're on to game number 3 for week number 16. Also on Saturday, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. This is Ravens by 6 at the moment. The Steelers just continue to beat the Ravens every time out. All this one is in Baltimore. I think the spread is a bit inflated, Tim, based on what happened on Sunday, where the Steelers lose. They look terrible without Pickens. They get beat by a very good Eagles team. And the Ravens just run a train on the Giants like everyone else does. That
Yeah.
if they play like two neutral teams, like two middle-of-the-pack teams, and the games are a little bit closer, I feel like the spread's like 3.5 or 4. I'll take Pittsburgh.
Agreed. Teasing down Baltimore to a pick 'em.
Okay.
And taking Pittsburgh against the spread.
You think it's going to be a
3-point
Fienberg?
game. I think it's going to be a 3-point
Oh,
game or a 4-point game or a 5-point
You know-
game. A close game.
Let's clarify something. I think we're gone out of hand with this Fienberg thing.
Hold
A
on, or
6
my
points-
brother will send you a very nasty DM if you go too far.
No, a Fienberg, like when there's a game, like a 6-point favorite can't be a Fienberg. It started with like the joke of like this was a 3 or even a 4-point spread or shorter, where it's someone's going to cover, the other team's going to win. Once you get into that territory above, I would probably say maybe 3 or 4 points for sure would be the ceiling on like what can quantify as like the double-sided Fienberg.
I don't understand how all the fellow did was reach out to you and say, "Do I know you?" A very innocuous little comment. "Do I know you?" And your response is to rain fire upon him. Like you were quote tweeting him for attention, but you weren't, because you were doing it in the DM. Like, I don't understand how that's your reaction to somebody just reaching. "Do I know you?" It's like, "Oh, I'm a fan of the team your brother used to coach." Or no. It was just like, I am going to absolutely just tear apart your brother to you, who I've never met. How was that your default?
Do you know what? You know what would give me so much pleasure, Tim?
Get the beep ready.
No, not beep at all. I don't know what causes this, but at any point in life, name the airport, Doesn't matter. I'm sitting there. I'm in like 7B. That sucks. How did I end up in 7B? I don't know. But someone walks on the plane and he has to sit in 7A. And it's Brandon Staley. And we're getting up in the air. And it's time for a chat. Okay? Like, you get stuck beside me on an airplane. I want that. I want that.
That's Brandon Staley.
Yeah.
This is his brother. What did his brother do to you that all he said was a very kind or just short little message, and you decided that he had to answer for the pain that you believed his brother
Because
may have
I'll
caused
tell you
your
why.
franchise?
I'll
which
tell you
believe
why.
you're a member of.
Imagine if Tim's brother had to suffer the wrath of people be like, your brother cursed 8 bells to death. He killed Mr. Peanut. He'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Or my brother reached out to someone and said, "Do I know you?" And their response
What
was,
on
"Your
earth?
brother curses everything."
What on earth? What on earth? Where? You are from Cleveland, Ohio.
Ohio.
There, like, I just don't even know. Not to, like, it wasn't a rude question. You're right. I wasted no time. Maybe my first question should have been, why on earth do you think I know you? Maybe that's still rude for you, but like, where on earth have our paths crossed? Now I've got this, like, I don't know. I've been mistaken for people before. I might have like a generic
Sean
chubby
Austin face.
head of hair, like look. Yeah, but celebrity or like, oh, I thought you were my friend. No.
I thought you were
Like,
Rudy.
okay.
Rudy, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I got this, like, maybe this generic look.
Hey, do
That
not
he
come
thinks
on
we've
Pat's
met
corner
before?
of generic white guy face, all right? My face goes on every white person who's ever lived. Look just like them.
I just don't know where, like, the nerve of him to think I know him.
The nerve of him.
I'm telling you, this is exactly why you folks need to vote for Geoff. This type
Whatever.
of behavior cannot be rewarded again.
I mean, don't forget that you're buying McDonald's gift cards for people just to get free Big Macs.
Not just for.
Yes,
Not
just
also
for.
stop Also, I thought there was going to be no fact check.
Tim, did you see the
But
thumbnail
also-
for this episode?
It's hilarious.
but also, like, you're right. What I'm doing, I don't claim to be normal. This is a weird response. Any part of me just would love to say something to any Staley. And I guess this was like, holy shit, what am I texted a friend, like,
Hey,
what am I
Grandma
supposed to-
Staley, your grandson is awful. Let me show you this Simpsons meme.
But here's the thing. So I don't claim to be normal, and I don't claim this exchange to be normal. But I also don't think that I need a warehouse to store my Costco goods. Because you know what that's called, Tim? A grocery store.
Yo, all I said was this game is a Fienberg, and we're like 7 minutes later. Yes, Paul.
No, you brought up Brandon Staley. That's where it came from. That's where this link came from. I was like, okay, you know what?
I brought up
I'll-
Brandon
I'll share
Staley, did
this.
I?
Yes, you said. I'm talking about it with Jake, the 49ers, 6 and DVOA. You brought him up in this show, not me.
So you didn't
Hold on a second.
Paul, what did you want to
Do
say?
you think he recognizes Geoff from that commercial?
Oh, the van.
Maybe. But hold on, like, fair and
Do I know you?
balanced. Am I like, let's, like, if you're gonna call me out on this, I think the origin in this episode was you bringing up the 49ers, D and Brandon, and then that was like, oh my god, I gotta tell these guys about that.
Maybe.
So that's
Maybe
where
that
this
is. Maybe
came
that is
from.
my fault. But I mean, we were talking about Pittsburgh and Baltimore at this point, and now we're back
yeah,
on.
because
You're
you see,
right.
if you hadn't brought up Brandon Staley in this show, I'm sure there's no other opportunity for his
You're
name to
right.
get mentioned.
Listen, okay, but fine. But he's like, you know what I did? I got whatever. Gave Brandon Staley some props, which is fine. If 49ers defense is good for him. Maybe they'll elevate him next year to coordinator. I'm taking Baltimore. Pittsburgh, get punked, get ready for Christmas.
Yeah, see,
I agree. It could be a few points. It's the AFC North clash. I just feel like this. I feel like it could be similar to last week. So give me Baltimore.
Tim, I just feel like everything's flipped for Pittsburgh now, where everyone wanted to bet them as underdogs every single week, and they kept winning outright. And then people lined up to bet them last week against the Eagles, thinking they would keep it within 6, and they just got mollywopped by a very good Pittsburgh team. And we've been kind of saying for weeks, like, Pittsburgh's not actually that good. Even when you look at the numbers, they're not actually that good, but they continue to squeeze this out. It just feels like we're getting more value on them now. Now people are like, oh, they're cooked, they're done. Everyone just flipped on them, and that's not usually how it works.
I don't know if there's much value on them, to be honest with you.
I just think this line...
They were 5-point dogs in Philly. They're 6-point dogs in Baltimore. Baltimore's probably a touch better than Philadelphia, or they're very, very close. It's about what it should be.
Yeah, but
like
I said, if the last week doesn't happen with the scores that don't happen, I do think this line is like 2.5 points shorter.
Maybe. I mean, I'm taking
I
Pittsburgh
disagree, but I wasn't surprised with last week.
No,
last week didn't surprise me one bit. Philly laying the wood to Pittsburgh.
Sure, but
Pittsburgh's been due getting it laid into them by a good team, and at this part of the schedule, I think they're going to get got a couple times. Yeah. So I'm going to lay these points.
It's just they've had a lot of success against Lamar and Baltimore over the past year. I hope they don't, because I'm playing Paul in our fantasy semifinals. I need Lamar to go off. I scored the most points I've ever scored in 15 years last week, Geoff, on bye week.
That's not a good omen.
Pat's team's
a fantasy
wagon,
history
though.
says that's a horrific omen.
That's real bad omen. I had like 4 guys score 45 points or something like that.
Yeah, but you just got Gibbs. Gibbs is going to be like workhorse now. Like
Gibbs was scoring 20 points anyway. What's he going to score 50 points this week?
I mean, it's 62 to 38% right now.
Yeah, that's the lowest I've been all year in a matchup.
I don't expect to win.
Did you see Tomlin? There's that clip of a ref like coming to talk to him. He told him like, "Fuck off, get away from me."
No.
Love that. I love that so much. That's how I feel sometimes.
Do you think that you can use like Chat GPT to upload that video and you can put Brandon Staley's brother's face on that ref, and then you can have Mike Tomlin telling him to fuck off?
Listen, maybe there should be a disclaimer, but like, no, do not. I don't want to be spoken to by Staley's.
Okay. You should have had that up. It's like no soliciting, just no Staley's. Although he's just a Staley. He'd be like the no homers club where you can have the 1 homer, but not 2.
You don't understand. When
I don't.
You do something that leaves me thinking fondly of Anthony Lynn, you did something. You left a mark.
Okay. Baltimore for Geoff, Pittsburgh for the rest. Moving on to Sunday. Let's go Detroit at Chicago. Chicago with the short week, having looked very bad on Monday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. It's 7 right now. It's 6.5 in some places, but we'll take the 7 at coolbet.ca if you want to go over there and use code DOGGERPASS to go get signed up, get yourself a bonus. But 45.5 is the total. As Geoff mentioned, David Montgomery is going to be out for at least the regular season with this knee injury, so it's going to be all Gibbs all the time. Dan Campbell says he needs to step up, but Tim, it's the defense right now that has taken a step back due to all these injuries. But can Chicago take advantage of that?
No. Tease the Lions. They're the third part of the teaser. The Bears haven't won a game since that Hail Mary. Everything has gone wrong for them. Continues to go wrong for them. They barely showed up last night indoors in a division game. No, thank you. I will take the Lions here.
I'm going to take the Bears +7 at home, Geoff. Just cold, outside, Goff, bit of injuries. Maybe they can move the ball a little bit. Maybe the Lions win, 27-24. One of those stupid Chicago games where they cover but have no chance of winning.
I kind of feel like I want to lean with you, Pat. I don't have a strong opinion. I certainly couldn't bet the Bears with someone else's money.
What if I lent you $500?
At home, it is so bad there. Their schedule's hard. They finished with Seattle and the Packers. So they're just going to get whipped all the way to the finish line. Like, you hope maybe they can get a bright spot, but Give me the Bears. Zero confidence, but I'll take this touchdown.
I've made some very poor bets over the course of this season, but I want to see the guy with the pending bet Bears over 9.5 wins. So just that has to be devastating to look at.
I feel like you would have accepted that a long time ago.
But you have to see it when you go to your pendings.
Yeah.
Like I might be able fingers crossed this week, I might be able to clear Bucks over 8.5 wins, which would be fantastic news.
Bears 9.5. Holy shit.
Hey, only one of us on the show picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
I sure did. I was wrong as wrong can be. I don't know what else to say about that.
Where would you rank? Like, it's not fair to do, but like, let's just like, where would you rank Caleb amongst the rookies
right now?
Because there's some stuff on tape from like, whether he's just in his own head and the whole season is a wash. Like he's doing things like that are embarrassing.
Yeah, well, he's throwing the ball 1,000 miles per hour to guys that are standing 5 feet in front of him. So that's never a good sign. But I mean, the way that he's played, he's probably 4th right now. Like he's objectively played worse than Drake May, although Drake May turns into Blake Bortles every time they're down by 30. Like it's like, oh, now he's Joe Montana because they're down by 3 scores. Like that's the Drake May experience every single week. Like it's been Jaden Daniels has been the most impressive. Bo Nix has probably been the best playing within his system outside of last week. But like Daniel started off so hot, came back a little bit. You know, Caleb Williams has had his moments, but he doesn't actually seem to have those, like you say, the ceiling plays that Drake May has made, even if it's against it's not like Caleb Williams hasn't got to play against garbage time defenses either, and he still can't do anything. So I think that puts May above him.
Yeah, I don't know. May just seems, and I know it's not like what Williams is like maybe known for or the strong suit, but I mean the command that Drake May seems to show.
Like again, Drake May only puts up stats when they're down 3 scores. Let's pretend.
Yeah, it's because he's playing from 1st and 15 every other snap.
So how come? Then why do his great plays and his he can really take command of this offense count when he's playing against prevent defense for 20 minutes?
I'm not even saying I would take Drake May over Caleb Williams. I'm just saying I think he's this season. If you're like a Patriots fan, I feel like you've seen. Maybe there have been moments with Caleb. I don't know. It's pretty equal. The fact that it's even a conversation is, I guess, sucks for the Bears. But I didn't even claim I would with like good coaches or like the proper setup. I would want Drake May over Caleb Williams. I wasn't going there.
If we're going to talk about the Patriots coaches being terrible, the Bears coaches have been equally as terrible. So maybe they can both get
horrific.
Is Gerard Mayo coming back next year?
Yes, and I will tell you why. Because Robert Mayo, Kraft, this was all him. This wasn't like a football operations decision. This was him. And he's a stubborn billionaire. And this was his plan for years. Right? Like they didn't subvert the Rooney Rule because they like worked it in. But this was like a 3-year in the making thing. He is not giving up on it after 1 year, which sucks for the Patriots because that guy's an idiot. There's no way he's fired, though.
Jacksonville in Vegas is up next. After Monday night, Vegas is now an underdog. At home, actually, no, I guess in some spots they're underdogs, in some spots they're not. We have -1 on the board. It flipped to +1 in some places as well, but it's essentially a pick'em, Tim. Jags and Raiders. I think Aiden O'Connell might be back for this game, and that might be enough.
No, I'll take the Jaguars in this game, please.
Because they almost beat the Jets.
I just think that they can score points a little bit more easily than can the Raiders. I don't really care about this game one way or the other, but I will take the Jaguars and Mac Jones and what they can do slightly more than what the Raiders can do, which is even less.
Geoff, why does Mac Jones celebrate after every positive play the Jags have?
It's a fair question. I don't really know how to even pick this. Like, I feel like just blindly saying the Jags is just hyper reactionary to like the last day. Maybe they are. You'd think on the surface they do have a lot more talent than the Raiders. And the way Antonio Pierce like talks, I don't know if he's gonna be back.
He's going to be the Jets coach.
I don't know if the Bear like Brady will demand that he's fired. But the way he speaks and the way he's like spoken about his quarterbacks and his quarterback situation, like literally referring to the cards he's been dealt as like the worst hand in the league. And something's got to be done about that. Like maybe they do actually like just want to tank, or like they don't want to give up this draft pick at all. They haven't won since September. I want to fade Tim here, but I can't. So Jags.
I'll take Vegas. I think it's a coin toss. I'm not going to bet real money on it anyway. But Aiden O'Connell coming back, at least with him, he threw the ball down the field. As Paul pointed out to me before the show, I was not prepared, Tim, for how bad Ritter was. Like, I know that I've seen him in the past, but like even when he'd come into games this year, at least he would throw the ball down the field. That was not the case.
Horrifyingly bad. Horrifyingly bad.
Hey, well, what player did you tell me you were going to spend all your... Remember you didn't spend all the fab bucks on Garendo? Do you remember who you were going to tell me that you were going to spend all your fab bucks on this week?
Yeah, the Raiders player who got hurt in the game.
Yeah, that's right.
Where are you seeing that O'Connell might play?
I mean, he was almost playing on Monday night. Like it came down to like Ritter wasn't named the starter until like midway through Monday. If O'Connell was that close to playing on Monday night, why wouldn't he play in this game? I mean, that's at least my thinking behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Ritter does play, take his over rushing yards, because that's the only thing that he can do at this point.
Okay, I'm swapping. I'm going with you, Pat. Give me Vegas.
Get off my corner. Listen, I've already made you. You already made your pick. We're not doing this anymore. You get Jacksonville. You don't. You don't. You make your pick. Well, listen, I'm a game behind you. I need to catch up. You can't start swapping to my picks.
No, it was about the quarterback more so than the freaking thing.
Well, I mean, I said it 3 times. You made your pick, and then you said, like, are you for real? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Like, cause when I do swerve in the past, it's always to like gain the side of the, not just because I've changed my mind on the game. But it's okay. Jacksonville. I think after last night, that line actually reeks so much, but I would never want to bet this game with real money. Hey, do you think this game will be better or worse than Saints Giants?
Better.
As bad.
Philly at Washington is next. Washington are 3-point underdogs at home in this game, with Philly coming off beating Pittsburgh a week ago, and Washington maybe putting in one of the weirdest second half performances I can recall. As Tim, you were watching it with me, as someone who was very highly invested in Washington covering the spread, and then they almost lost the game, blowing up teasers across the nation. Still a game I felt like they actually played well and should have won by a lot more in, but this line seems suspiciously low to me.
Well, I mean, the Eagles are also like just a week away from barely getting past the Panthers. So it's not like they're this world epical team that beats everybody they play by a lot. But I don't trust Washington. So I'm going to take the Eagles. What?
Just like football guy? The sandwich game between it was the sandwich game between, I believe, a Ravens and a Steelers game. Like, who cares? Like, I don't hold that against. I'm trying to figure out what Philly is. I don't hold that against them at all. At all.
Do we know if AJ Brown is playing? Because I actually don't like them if AJ Brown's not playing. I haven't seen an update on it. Like, I've been looking for updates. I haven't seen anything come out. I don't know if he was taken out of that game on Sunday for precautionary reasons towards the end or not. But if he's playing, I like the Eagles. If he's not, I like Washington, honestly, because I don't think their offense moves when he's not on the field.
I mean, Pat, you probably win your best bet, and a lot of people take home their Washington monies if McLaurin didn't turn into Quentin Johnson for 25 minutes.
That was the whole thing. There was 3 touchdowns he should have had. And then he doesn't. Like, Daniels overthrows him on 1, and then he drops 2 more. It's like, come on, man. Like, put the game out of reach. I didn't listen. I made the bet against Jake Haener. Did not anticipate him getting benched at half.
Yeah, but I guess having watched the game, that coach, we saw him freak out a couple weeks ago. That coach is interim special teams coaches are such a vibe. Like always, it seems.
Did you
When
know
you
that?
get one that feels
Did you know that he and Dan Campbell were on the same coaching staff in Miami?
under baby owl, Philbin?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that was the Philbin staff. Okay. No, I didn't know that. God, this should be a fun game. I don't know, my chips are in with the Eagles though. Eagles.
All right, yeah, I'll take the Eagles as well. But again, I'll probably bet Washington if AJ Brown ends up sitting in this spot, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case right now. Oh, Tim, what?
Most overrated like family in football, those fucking Hawkules. All they do is cause trouble.
How many other families would you like to attack today on the show? That's 2 so far.
They come up naturally. But that guy stopping the clock and then apologizing for stopping a clock and then saying, like, I don't know why I did it. It's the final seconds of a game. It was a play caught in bounds. Like, I don't even know. Like, you need a much better explanation for that. And he probably cost himself any good, but he probably cost himself any postseason assignment with that grade.
Tim, the Rams are. You okay over there?
Nope.
What happened?
Nope.
What happened?
Nothing.
What happened?
Everything's fine.
No, you don't get to cut me off 8 times in a row. I get to ask you something now and see what happened over there. You tell me. Did you?
We're just like cool with the clock stopping.
Man, it's fucking Washington, New Orleans. I don't really care.
I almost was cheering for if I didn't have a teaser, I'd be cheering for freaking New Orleans to win there. So hell on fury could come down on the clock stopping. I don't know. That's that. You almost I don't know. League needed that controversy.
I mean,
And that it wouldn't maybe healthy if the Saints did win that game. Because that's just like a forgotten thing that the clock stopped.
yeah, it's become a forgotten thing because it didn't make a difference. I agree with you. It's terrible officiating, and there should be a better explanation, but also no one cares.
That's a fair counter.
Tim, do you know what today is?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. I do actually know what today is.
Today, Tim, is the release of Aaron
Yes.
Rodgers' Enigma. And now he's a 3-point disrespected dog at home against the Los Angeles Rams. Is he going to get a Netflix bump here?
Can I just say, I don't know if there's been a spread where I've liked the Jets more this year than I like them in this game. I mean that too. I love this game for the Jets. The Rams, after having been extremely shaky for a month and a half, play a couple really good games in 2 very different ways. A high-scoring, sort of swashbuckling game against Buffalo, and then a 12-6 sort of brawl with the 49ers. So the Rams are everybody's NFC darlings, and they've positioned themselves marvelously to win the NFC West. Or NFC West, sorry. But they're going to go on a short week, they're going to go across the country to play the Jets outdoors just before December in a game that means so much to them and nothing to New York. And they're just going to get got. The Jets have the best of everything in this game. Better receivers. They're just going to play. I actually think the Jets are going to play really well in this game.
Are you saying that Aaron? Hold on. Are you saying that Aaron Rodgers is better than Matt Stafford? Because it sounded like you were about to say that, then stopped.
We have, historically, yes.
Is he?
Historically,
I mean, they both have 1 Super Bowl apiece.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, if you go ahead. I mean, I love Stafford. Don't get me wrong, but historically, no.
Well, are they playing this game in 2012?
No, they're not. But you just look at this. The Jets have basically what I would like to call back-to-back Super Bowls coming up for them.
What?
They've got this game and the Bills. That's what they've got left to play for. So the season's over in terms of competing for anything, but they have for the franchise back-to-back Super Bowls and a chance to go 7-10 by winning out, getting this team to the same record it had, and with all the awful luck that it had With Rodgers playing as well as he is, I think he wants to put on a show. They want to put on a show by winning the last 4 or 5 games this year so that people understand going into 2025, you can put that marker down that this Jets team is going to be exciting and fun and competitive. And that all starts with knocking out a couple of teams like the Rams and Bills in back-to-back weeks when people are starting to watch. The Jets are not going to be a popular pick. The Rams are going to be a very popular pick. People are going to be loading up on the Rams. I apologize. The Jets are going to be the Grinches in green that ruin your Christmas if you bet against them. The Jets are winning this football game. We're teasing them up. This is a great spot for the Jets. I don't know how the Rams are going to stop what the Jets want to do on offense. I love the Jets in this game. Like I mean that. I've liked it for the last couple of weeks looking at it. It's like this is such a perfect spot for the Jets. This is that classic home dog the world doesn't believe in.
Well, we should commend ourselves, Tim, for making it very hard on the electorate to make their decision this year. I mean, I
Why?
don't disagree with you about the Jets for this game, but I mean, like
This is like a consolation Super Bowl.
Bowls?
This is a consolation
What
Super
the?
Bowl.
What are you talking about?
And because we're that good, we get 2. The next 2 weeks are consolation Super Bowl.
You're trolling.
We
You're just
know because we
trolling.
get to
You're
affect.
trolling.
No, I'm not trolling. We actually get to affect playoff seeding and standing by winning 2 games against 2 very good teams who very well could end up in the Super Bowl against each other. You never know.
So, like, part of my ignorance, like, is this week a Super Bowl for the Chargers?
No, your team is going to make the playoffs and have something to play for and something to hope for. Our regular season is over, but we can treat these, and we'll treat these next 2 weeks like consolation Super Bowls against teams that have everything to play for, to sort of like be the perfect spoiler.
So, unfortunately, like, everyone on that sidelines in like coaching apparel is going to be fired.
Yeah, but all the
So-
players seem like they're in a great mood. You're not
No.
hearing the dissension you would usually hear from a team
No.
who's done as poorly as this team had. Rodgers is having fun on the sidelines. He's smiling. Wilson is playing. Breece Hall is playing, and they both have had some injuries. You think they wouldn't play. This Jets team is the best 4-10 team I have ever seen. Now, there aren't very many good 4-10 teams, granted. That's why you're 4-10. But this 4-10 Jets team is so much better than your average 4, which is why they're only 3-point dogs, by the way, against a team that, which is burgeoning as maybe the 3rd best team in the NFC. I don't know.
So you're definitely a tough out, and it seems like Rodgers is content to let Adams set those records, or their own individual records. They want to pass Marino and Clayton, and I think he's probably if you get Adams in fantasy, he's probably going to score again because Rodgers is going to force those touchdowns.
Watch out, Paul. Here comes Adams.
I don't understand. Like, you are so weirded out by some of the things I say, but I am so weirded out by some of the things you say.
Yeah, but you didn't see the Jets barely squeak by the Jags last week, Geoff.
They were my super lock, and I was so lucky to get the cover. And now they're playing in a hypothetical Super Bowl. Like, for a coaching staff who isn't returning, for a front office who everyone is getting cleaned out. So, like, yes, the eye in the sky don't lie. Like, you want to put it on tape every time you hit the field to get another job. But, you think, like, these guys aren't playing for anything or anyone.
I don't agree at all. That team is playing hard week after week. This team has not quit in a way that most teams in this spot would have quit. Been very impressed, and it maybe suggests
But you think
there's a
this
little
is like
bit more
a Super Bowl
leadership.
so Rodgers can come back?
Honestly,
Like, wouldn't you rather get your ass kicked?
Rodgers is going to come back. I think at this point, and if he's going to play like this, I want him back. I'm actually seeing some leadership too from Rodgers. God forbid we allow that, but he seems to be really leading this team in the absence of a coach.
So he's the coach?
This is literally like, imagine setting the house on fire and then
Not blaming the guy with the matches?
And then it burns to the ground. And then, like, you're there, like, helping them clean up. You're organizing cleanup duty. I don't even know.
take the Jets.
Yeah, in consolation Super Bowl number 1.
Yeah.
So this is to follow up the hypothetical championship. We can win 2 consolation Super Bowls.
Or what I'm saying is we have 2 cracks at winning a consolation Super Bowl.
What is beating the Bills in week 17 give you any consolation for anything?
It gives us another win against Josh Allen, and we become the team in the division Josh Allen struggles with. And
So, like when
ensures
Josh Allen gets
that
to play in
Buffalo
an
has to play in
AFC championship game, you
on
get
the road,
to.
not at home. It would preclude him from playing at home because
I
they would not be
understand
the
that,
one
but
seed.
I get it. As a division rival, you want that game, but to think you're getting a leg up on the Bills in any of this is so goddamn delusional.
Okay, well, you believe that if you want. I will mean a great
No,
deal.
I remember what you said about the Bills during this season. I remember Paul, like you were so obtusely offensive about their prospects that you actually made Paul like angry. That's what I remember about you and the Bills.
And now,
So-
if I
and-
say something nice about the Bills, Paul will be also angry. So I guess I can't win.
You really can't.
You do realize Josh Allen has an 8-4 career record against the Jets, right?
That's a pretty good record for the Jets against one of the quote unquote best quarterbacks.
Well, they've had the best players at every position for 10 consecutive years, according to you. It seems like
just
they're
this season.
they
Just this season.
Oh, just this season. What
Do
about
you still throw stones at Josh Allen? Because you were like 4 weeks, like when I
No, he's
when I
playing
made his
fantastic.
MVP bet.
He's playing fantastically in the regular season. He's having a great year. He's having a great year.
Here's the thing.
Tim
Josh
said
Allen
Tim
and-
said he would take him over Patrick Mahomes.
No, I didn't say that. What I said was if you did a fantasy draft, I think there are teams that would take Allen first now and not Patrick Mahomes.
I don't think there
wouldn't.
is.
I would still take Lamar over
It
Allen.
took
to be
you
honest
like
with you, but
5 years to stop talking about a pass he threw in his first ever playoff game.
I haven't brought it up. I've moved past these.
No, I said it's been more than 5 years. I'm saying we're past it. But
I
I'm
could
saying,
focus on all. I could focus on the playoff game he didn't show up for against the Bengals at home in the snow. I could talk about the playoff game he really didn't play that great in last year against the Chiefs at home. But no, I'm not going to focus
or
on
the
his.
Skylar Thompson Dolphin game.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
give
not
you
going to
one as
focus on
well,
his frequent, significant failures in the playoffs. I'll leave that for the playoffs. In the regular season, he's become our Peyton Manning. You know, he's a fantastic regular season quarterback.
You're
But
such a,
but if we
you're
mention
such
that if we mention that about Lamar, you get all triggered about it.
No, I'm not going to get triggered about it. Lamar hasn't performed in the playoffs. I don't know who would dispute that. Lamar's a more exciting player, and he's got 2 MVPs.
Is
but
he?
they're both
Hold on.
excellent regular season quarterbacks.
Is he a more exciting player?
I think so.
I think they're like in a
Tim?
category by themselves now. Those two as the most exciting players in football. And Carson Wentz this week probably because that'll just be must-watch TV.
if the Jets like somehow were in a playoff race and got in, like somehow they scrapped out some of those games, Zerline made some kicks, would you think they could win the Super Bowl?
Of course.
Yeah,
course.
Probably because Rodgers is getting better every week, and so like this team has not even hit its. The cruel thing is, this team is going to be like a 100-yard dash Olympian.
Peaking at
that,
the
like,
perfect
doesn't-
time,
that
except you're
gets-
not getting the playoffs.
That's it. He peaked just before the Olympics, but it was too late to get into the trials. Who would be the fastest man on earth if he was allowed to compete in the Olympics, but he wasn't fast enough during the trials, and therefore didn't make the Olympics. That's who this team is.
But you can't wait for next year's Olympics because you got it, baby.
I'm saying with a new coach, with another high draft pick to put on the offensive line, with a new general manager, if you run back this team is every bit as good as anybody else in the AFC. And maybe the luck will finally break our way.
That rookie offensive lineman has been grading out amazing. I've been seeing Tim. For
And
Sean.
that's what we need. Yeah, he's been playing better. He started the year I didn't think as great, but he's been playing better. We need more offensive linemen. We need a better head coach, one who can sort of take the defense in hand perhaps a little bit, and the offense was the CEO. I'm okay with things. I think we're moving in the right direction. This
Yeah,
year,
of course.
This year, while it's been a disaster, the last month has made it feel like less of a disaster to me. Feel like they've sort of like fixed the descent, and now we're working on moving the plane back in the right direction.
It's three.
None of it matters.
It's 3.5 at some places now. I actually really like that 3.5.
Like you'd rather lay the 3.5 or you want the Rams?
No, I'm taking the Jets +3 on the show, but like to actually like, bet it, I'd jump on that 3.5.
Yeah, I think the Jets are going to win the game.
I don't know about that. Like, you might be right. Like, it's probably like a 55-45 of who wins the game. So the money line is most definitely far more intriguing with the Jets. But there is a scenario here where the Jets, they're 4-10 for a reason, where they're just like, Puka is unstoppable. They can't stop Kyron Williams. And then Verse just gets in the backfield and blows up Rodgers, and the Rams win by 25 or something.
Oh yeah, I could easily see those nose tackles just destroying Rodgers.
I doubt it.
He had that nice 12-yard run though, and he did a nice slide.
He's been running more and moving more the last couple. Like you said, he really finally
have you moved
starts
him
to look healthy.
Now? At earlier on in the season, he was a better runner than Jalen Hurts, but then you moved him back below Jalen Hurts. Is he back above Jalen Hurts now as a runner?
No, I don't wish to rehash that, other than to say he has been running much better the last 3 or 4 weeks. And if this is the Rodgers we're going to get next year, he's better than most of the quarterbacks in the AFC. Not all of them, but most of them. I'll take my chances.
Are you worried about what this documentary might present about Aaron Rodgers?
A little bit. But, I don't want to prejudge it. No, I'm sure you really don't even have to watch it, because anything crazy that's in it, people will just bring it to my attention on X.
No, we should do a live watch along with it. We can get the viewers in, and we can do audio commentary as we watch it.
We could have it like that if you want it.
Paul?
He just said that Rodgers is better than most of the quarterbacks in the AFC. I'd like to hear a list of the quarterbacks in the AFC that Rodgers is better than.
You know what? I will give him this one. I think that he's right. I'm just looking at the AFC. There's some bad quarterbacks in the AFC.
But there's like 6 that are like
and he's in that 7, 8
middle of the pack.
Yeah, but it's a tough one.
If he's 7th, then he's right. Then he's better than most.
It's better than most of his.
If he's 8th, he's better than most.
Yeah, fair.
On opening day next year, would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or Drake May or Bo Nix?
I mean, for the year, I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers.
For Aaron Rodgers, yeah, for the 2025 season, yeah, Rodgers,
yeah, and then
so
then Tua, yes, Richardson, yes, Jameis and or DTR and or Watson, yes, Mac Jones or Lawrence, yes, Will Levis, yes, Aiden O'Connell, yes. So yeah. I mean, honestly, from what I've seen of Stroud this year, Geoff,
been some regression.
Long term, I would want CJ Stroud. Over everyone, I'd rather have everyone over Aaron Rodgers long term. But for 1 year, if I was trying to win the Super Bowl next year, it might be Rodgers. I mean, I wouldn't want him on my team because he's a cancer. But in terms of actual playing, maybe.
Let's see how he does in these big title games coming up.
Yeah, I mean, this is the real litmus test here. How does he perform on the big stage?
This is it. We get 2 dress rehearsals back to back before the season ends against the Dolphins team.
So
giving up.
Wait, so these 2 consolation titles are just dress rehearsals for the
no dress
game?
rehearsals for next year.
Oh,
for next year. I don't think the Dolphins
Week 17 Dolphin game going to be?
The Week 18 Dolphin game. Given that the Dolphins, I don't think are going to even be a contender for the playoffs. I think it's just let's just get nobody hurt, play nobody important, including Rodgers.
No, you can't let Tua beat you in the weather. That would be bad for the narrative.
I don't care in Week 18. I mean, I want to go 7-10.
No. This is the whole cop out now. If we lose to Tua, not that big of a deal because the game didn't mean anything to me. But these games mean everything to me. So these ones are the important ones.
I told you we have back-to-back consolation Super Bowls coming up. They mean a great deal to me.
You're already talking yourself out of Tua humiliating the Jets in Week 18.
Well, I wonder if the Jets will play everybody in Week 18. We'll see.
They will.
They're resting everyone for Week 1.
Know. I don't know that they will, Jeff.
Unless they're 100%, injured, unless they're shut down. No, but I've never seen teams don't. The players that are healthy play. You just don't sit down because you're a star in the team.
Yeah, but you have a lot of players on the Jets who are playing that aren't 100%.
The Jets just rushed back Breece Hall to play against the Jags for no reason.
To get him ready for the Super Bowls.
Okay. Rounded Jets except for the coin taking the Rams. In a very interesting game, Minnesota, who now appears to control its own destiny, I guess I don't know how the Philly situation works out with them, but they are 3.5-point favorites in Seattle. Short week, although the Seahawks did play on Sunday Night Football and looked god-awful against the Packers. Geno is expected to be back, at least at this point in this game. And the Vikings played great against the Bears. The Vikings continue to play great football, Geoff. But there was a moment in that game when Darnold threw that pick. I'm like, this is how they get eliminated from the playoffs immediately. That pass right there. Because he's still... When it all breaks down for him, that's what he reverts back into.
So yes, like even as the truther and the season being more than my wildest dreams could be for him and the team, anytime there's like someone is coming around the edge, I think that we're about to turn into a pumpkin. Like other good quarterbacks, someone's coming around the edge. I'm like, okay, we'll work through this. With him, I still have fears that we're going back. But I don't care. I love these guys. I'm the apologist. I'm the defender. I stand for them. I actually think I like so many of these NFC teams. I'm looking forward to the NFC playoffs, but I think they could run something too. I don't have any bet on it, and I'd probably still rather bet the Packers or the Eagles, but Lions are unbettable to me. I cheer for them. That's fine. I love the Vikings. I love Kevin O'Connell. I love Sam.
They get the 1 seed if they win out.
They do get the 1
That
seed.
would be-
I just played it in the playoff machine.
If they got the 1
Minnesota
seed,
goes to
gambling-
15-2 in the 1 seed. Yeah.
gambling Twitter would spend the next like the entire bye week just like salivating, hoping that the wild card matchup ended a certain way to get the someone who's a 5-point underdog in Minnesota, and the world will just smash them on the money line.
It'd be like a couple years ago when the Titans stumbled into the 1 seed with Tannehill.
Yeah. Although this team, this Minnesota team is much better than that Titans team.
It is much better, and like they got by Cincinnati in the playoffs, and I think if Minnesota were to end up being the 1 seed in this scenario and getting probably the Packers because they'd be favored against the Buccaneers, then like that would be like a good team to go against in the second round.
Can you run some stuff for me? Can you say that the Jets win and the Vikings win this week and Arizona wins, what that does for like the playoff probability of winning the NFC West? Because the Cardinals are 6-1 right now. And now that you're not on them anymore, they might just, have a rejuvenation here and take this division.
I think the Cardinals' problem lie with their pitiful conference or division record.
Yeah, but they could just
They lost
they're a game
both games to the Seahawks, right?
But if the other two teams lose, they could just tie everything up this week. Then there's going to be an automatic loss from one of the Seahawks and Rams when they play each other.
Okay.
And Seattle
Let's see where they go here.
Seattle has, I believe, another very difficult game next week too. Or maybe they're through their difficult stretch. I can't remember. Let's see.
Seattle
plays at the Bears next week, which is an entirely losable game for them.
maybe.
It is outdoors in Chicago with potentially a banged up Geno. Like it's not a great scene.
I'm not trying to make a case for the Bears. I did pick them this week plus the touchdown. And not that it really matters. I do believe like the players themselves will be desperate to not lose like 8 or 9 straight games to end the season.
And like Arizona has the Rams next week too. They win that game. They've already beaten the Rams this year. Then all of a sudden, because we did this with Seattle. Remember when we looked at these odds like 4 weeks ago and Seattle was 20-1 to win the division? Like this division just goes crazy all of a sudden.
But they would desperately need the 3-way tie because that would offset their 2 head-to-heads losses against the Seahawks.
Yes.
Head-to-head comes into play, though, when everybody's played everybody the same amount of times.
But it would go to division record, and their division record, if they do beat the Rams and 49ers, to Pat's point,
would be 4-2.
It would be fine.
I think they'd all be 4-2 if that was the case, if it breaks that way. It's just their conference record is horrible.
Oh, so then they'd be screwed.
But they could still get there on wins alone. They would just have to win out. They'd get to 10 wins, and that would probably. If they get to 10 wins, they're probably going to win the division.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams have.
It's that head-to-head the last week, like someone gets the win.
Yeah, the Cardinals get to play the 49ers at the end of the year, plus I don't think that Arizona has much of a shot, but I mean it's not out of it because Seattle might fall apart, particularly if they don't have Geno.
I like Minnesota I like Minnesota in this game though.
Unfortunately,
I do too.
Yeah, the math is really against Arizona. Looking at one site that I follow, now all these are like margin of error, a couple points. They've got the Cardinals at 15% chance.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me.
Yeah, and they're 6-1, so that's what? What's 15%? That'd be like plus 625 or something like that.
Yeah, so that's pretty close to what it should be.
Yeah, and like they would have to win out, and the Rams would have to beat the Seahawks. I think that's how it works out in order for them to get to their 10 wins and not have any tie breaks, because they would have beaten the Rams along the way. Anyway, who are you taking, Geoff?
You know me, I love me my Vikings.
The holidays are here, and this year, I'm not stressing about what to wear, especially around the house, because I'll be wearing my Doers. These are the most comfortable pants that I own. They make me look good, and they're so comfortable. I wear them at work, I wear them around the house, I wear them when I'm out doing things, because Doers denim and lifestyle apparel is built for doing. And I can really tell the difference right now, because I've been switching in between jeans and I wear my Doers. There's a lot of temperature fluctuation going on right now at this time of the year. And the high quality temperature regulating fabrics, they keep me warm, but at the same time, I don't get overheated. So that's really where you want to go. And Doer has styles for everyone. They don't chase trends. There are pieces you can wear all year round. Trust me, I know you'll love your Doers as much as I do. Check out Doers flagship stores in LA or Denver, or shop online at shopdoer.com/PME. Right now, my listeners get 20% off your first purchase when you use my exclusive URL, shopdoer.com/PME. This is such a great deal. Don't wait to get 20% off. Go now, shopdoer.com/PME. Introducing to you the TGL presented by SoFi Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN+. This is a simulator plus real chipping, real grass, and real green league featuring some of the PGA Tour's biggest players like Tiger and Rory and Xander. Only 2-hour matches inside of a stadium, and has other sporting elements like timeouts, refs, and overtime. You tee off from real grass into a screen. You might end up in the rough, or sand, real sand, and have to play it back into the screen out of there. After that, they use the technology to drop it by a real green side area plus a real putting surface, getting everyone involved in the contest. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. To learn more, visit tglgolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up. It's golf. For 11 months of the year, staying motivated is not a problem for me. Then December hits, the holidays are around, I'm out of my normal routine, and it becomes a struggle to stay motivated and keeping myself laser focused on work and health and getting exercise in every single day, just because everything's so out of whack with my schedule being thrown off. The one thing that I've been doing to make sure that I stay on the right path every single day is waking up and drinking my AG1. I get my essentials for nutrients and supplements every single day, and it just makes me feel so good. It makes me motivated to continue to stay focused on what I need to accomplish every single day, no matter how out of the regular routine that my life starts to get. AG1 is a sponsor of the Pat Mayo Experience, so this holiday season, try AG1 for yourself or even gift it to someone special. It's the perfect time to focus on supporting your body with an easy and surprisingly delicious daily health drink. That's why I'm so excited to be partnering with them. And AG1 is offering new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs inside your first box. So make sure to check out drinkag1.com/Mayo to get this offer. That's drinkag1.com/Mayo to start your new year off on a healthier note. New England at Buffalo. Another warm-up for Buffalo's Super Bowl next week against the Jets. This time they're 14-point favorites. Do you think Blake Bortles 2.0, Tim, can cover this spread in the fourth quarter?
No, I do not. No, I don't. I do know that this game was flexed to 425 for reasons that are particularly clear to me. I guess to give more chance for Josh Allen to play. Like, I don't know. I saw that somehow Dolphins 49ers is still America's game of the week instead of this game. But anyway, long story short, I don't think the Patriots have much for them here at all. Even though, yeah, you mentioned that Drake May loves scoring touchdowns in garbage time. Just stay. You just take Buffalo. Stay away from the Patriots. They're done for this week. I like the Patriots next week.
I actually like the Patriots this week, plus 14, and it might even
Hold
get
on.
higher.
Rewind that. What'd you say?
I like the Patriots next week at home against the Chargers going west. That's a tougher spot. If you're going to pick the Patriots to win a game down the stretch, think next week's the week to pick them, not this week to play well.
I mean, clearly they have a better chance of beating the Chargers than at home,
or even just playing well. I just
road.
think the Bills will rip them apart.
That being said, something Tim taught me is when this game moved to 4:00, the Chargers got an extra mini bye on their mini bye because this delayed the Patriots are in action till nighttime on Sunday. They're not off the clock at 4:00. So Tim told me I got an extra day, half day. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, I'll take New England to backdoor this. Buffalo is no stranger to letting teams score against them.
Buffalo's profound weakness is that they don't have a defense, really. And it's come to light the last couple of weeks. The Patriots are not the team to take advantage of the fact that they don't have a defense.
Yeah, but this could be like 35-7 midway through the third quarter or something. Or this is just, listen, the Bills just had a big win against Detroit. Like, would it be shocking to see this be like a bit of a letdown spot? Back outdoors after playing 2 games indoors, changing everything up. Like, their secondary is still missing 3 pieces right now. They might keep them out a little bit longer to make sure that they're healthy for their playoff run to see if that ends up happening. So, I don't know. I can just see a backdoor cover here. And the spread probably gets larger. And what's the weather look like for this game? It's going to be fucking cold.
Backdoor cover definitely in play with a spread this big. I would maybe say, and this is dumb because motivation is almost like it works against you in betting. Like, oh, this team needs it or something. But like maybe you have an opinion of this game that could be slightly different. Say if like the Chiefs lose on Wednesday.
Maybe. Yeah.
Sorry, if the Chiefs lose on Saturday.
Potentially so. Listen, Buffalo's going to come out to roll. They don't want to lay down for the Patriots in any circumstance. And this is the first of the 2 games that they play against the Patriots the rest of the season. Like, I think they beat them pretty handily, but we're talking about a 14-point spread. And like I said, when you got Blake Bortles on the other side, never count him out.
Okay, so I'm going to take the Bills. They haven't played the Patriots yet. They're just going to welcome them to what this Buffalo Bills team is at the Ralph.
6 degrees Celsius. What's that Fahrenheit? Like 3,000 or something?
That's a great weather. That's
That's
the weather wild card weekend.
So Sunday it's minus
9 and
minus
snowing?
11, and it's snowing like pretty much every day this week. In Orchard Park, as it does in the winter. It just lake effect snow every single day.
So what's minus 9 Fahrenheit?
Maybe they pushed it because
they're the same.
Oh, like if the Bills stadium gets snowed out, at least they've got an extra 3 hours to clean up. Wouldn't be surprised because
no, I actually have no idea. I didn't even realize until Tim mentioned it that there is how barren they are for like a game of the week this week.
By the way,
I saw that Brady is going to Miami to do Dolphins and 49ers. It's like, can you imagine? That's the game of the week. Like 2 teams that have no chance.
Well,
why flex Bills Patriots in and not send them to Buffalo?
Well, it's probably complications with like a lot of the TV gear getting people in and out of Buffalo if they saw that weather report.
Yeah,
and Brady's probably like, I have a touch up on my hair transplant in Miami. Let's do this game.
I mean, it could honestly be as. Like
then why flex that game? Why flex that game? Then why not flex Rams Jets into the 5 o'clock?
Because you get to see Josh Allen, the MVP in prime time, or like in a watchable spot for people.
But they're not putting him in prime time because they're making America's game of the week. Dolphins.
The window. It's. I see what Pat's saying. I think that was just it. They looked at the schedule. They're like, everything sucks, and let's just put the best player in the league at this moment in
It's a bad week. It's a bad
that
Sunday
window.
of football because all the good games were poached for Thursday and Saturday.
By the way,
Which is
minus
good. I like
minus
that.
9 degrees Celsius is 16 Fahrenheit, as I put it into the
Okay.
converter. I don't know what that is in Kelvin, though.
Tim, you know the logic. 6 or 7 bad football games actually morph together to make one decent football game. So that's
Yeah.
the power of the slate.
Was this Thursday Monday combo the worst in NFL history? Like after watching those 3 games, were they were the 3 worst games of the week somehow? And I don't recall that ever being the case before. Like there's usually ones like even Washington, New Orleans, and Jacksonville and Jets. Like they were bad. Cincinnati, Tennessee was bad, but in a really fun way. Those games were like literally unwatchable. I stopped watching them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami, Houston was such a weird game.
Even the Bills Lions game, like the score was 48-42, but it wasn't a good game.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't close. Like the
Yeah, and the
Lions
Bronco
just
game
scored a
wasn't
bunch
good,
late.
and it was all blowouts. I was thinking about that as the Chargers were getting their ass kicked, and I mean Denver and Indy was like close, but it was like that Monday nighter kind of more so than not.
Well, let's get to the midway point of the show, which is probably past the midway point at this junction anyway. But it's time for a mini version of Cust Corner.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner,
Okay. So if you're like me, you're going to be attending parties throughout the next week or so as we get into Christmas. And I want to ask an etiquette question. In particular, I want to ask Geoff what he thinks about this. What is, if you're going to a party, as one often does, and let's say it's a catered party and whatever, what's the etiquette about eating when you're there? If it's an evening party like this one is the polite thing to do is show up with the tank empty and eat like it's a regular meal and fully enjoy the food that's there? Or should you have already eaten before you get to the party and just daintily snack on a couple of the hors d'oeuvres that are there? What's the right etiquette? Am I allowed to treat this like my supper and eat to the point of satiety? Or no, I'm actually expected to have already eaten before I arrive. What do you think?
If
Are you trying to come to my party on Friday night and beat the house with the free food?
No. I'm just saying.
It sounds like that's what you want approval to do, like you tried to do last year. And the only thing that you
What
say
I'm
is that
asking-
Paul is some sort of blackout drunk who can't remember anything is your only defense that you didn't eat all the meatballs.
Yeah, sounds like I'm not
What-
getting meatballs again this year.
Yeah. I mean, how would you
Paul
know?
and I-
You're going to be blacked out without a minute of being there. You
Exactly.
Paul and
drunk?
I have
Sure.
already. Paul and I are going to be watching the Notre Dame playoff.
It's
game.
true.
That's what we're going to be. That's where our focus is going to be Friday evening.
Well, how are you going to watch that? Are you going to be streaming it off Paul's phone?
No, I mean we could put it on the downstairs TV.
No, you can't. The downstairs
You could
TV
for us.
is allocated to the mute. We just hooked up new speakers that play in every room of the house, but it's connected to the downstairs TV. And as you know, there's only one thing playing on the TV on the party every single year. Geoff, do you know what that is?
no,
It's a compilation of the best stunners of all time.
oh, that's the best.
Well, we'll get
And
the
people
playoff game.
get
We'll
fired
have that
up
game on,
for
Tim.
stunners.
Don't worry
Well,
about it.
Jeff and Paul and I'll get that football game.
I'll bring my laptop
Um,
if I have to.
So
but my question is, because it's it's a catered affair, is it perfectly acceptable for me to treat that like my dinner and
No.
eat it as if it is my dinner, or no? I should just daintily have one or two things, but have already eaten before I arrive. What do you think, Jeff, is the right thing to do?
okay, well, here's the thing. I mean, the ultimate key, which it seems like you do know, is the host, and you know how the host throws his parties, and from historical context, and whether I usually when this host throws a party, like, will I leave hungry if I want to gorge? That being said, I was at a party this past weekend. I had some of the same questions, but on the invitation, it said, "Come hungry." So that led me to believe that I could come hungry, and that wasn't a mistake.
Okay, so
So-
I can come hungry to this party then.
Listen, there'll
I
be
don't know.
hold on. There'll be enough food for you to eat there if you came hungry that you would be fine. The problem is that you come early And which is great. I love having people there early. And they're like, half the food is gone by the time some people get there.
Well, I don't intend to come early. I will not be coming early.
You will. You are so punctual. You will always be there early. And I appreciate that about you. But you have to remember that you're the only person there for like 45 minutes. And then more people people don't come into it starts at 7. You'll be there at 7 picking away. And even if you're not eating at a very high pace, you're just going to consume a lot. And then some people don't show up to 9:30. Then there's no food left for them.
Okay, but you know what? If you show up 2.5 hours late, you have no expectation for the hors d'oeuvres to be full and plentiful. You've chosen to show up late. For whatever reason, you're not showing up on time.
You know who most people who show up late are? People who have to put their kids to bed and then come once their kids are down.
Showing up
and for my party,
posted time.
No, but that's not the point. Listen, people come throughout the course of the night. We ask people to come throughout the course of the night. There should be hors d'oeuvres left for people 2.5 hours into this thing.
But it wouldn't be.
So I don't think you should get your dinner. You shouldn't have to.
Well, I shouldn't come hungry then. Okay, fine.
No, you can come hungry. You just can't come ravenous.
Yeah, it's not an all-you-can-eat buffet where you're just like, oh, I'm back on my 4th plate. Gotta beat the house.
Well, no.
At noon, at 3 o'clock, and you're hungry. Don't be like, I'm gonna let this one I'm gonna hold out because I'm going to town on Mayo's meatballs. And the other part is, I went to a party. I was 40 minutes late. I thought I was going to make good timing for the room to be full, for me to do my laps. I got there. I was like, shit.
You're the first person there.
Been. I was like, I don't like this room. My friends weren't there yet. The people I wanted to. And then I end up having to talk to a friend's ex-wife. Oh, God. So I'd rather be late.
Should we have MREs available for Tim?
You come hungry, you can have the rest of the MREs.
Jared will cook them up for you.
Jared will come early and he'll cook them for you like it's a regular Sunday night.
No, you can't.
But it's not just for me. I'm asking as a general point.
No one else has this question showing up to the party.
Jeff had a very similar question. He said just this week, when you're going to a catered affair,
come hungry, which meant this guy was his intention was, I'm going above and beyond, and I've been to his parties before. So I'm like, if Alex said to my wife, if Alex says come hungry, that means you can come hungry.
But your default position, your default position for the party wasn't I got to come on an empty tank, so I got to fill up.
No, not at all. No.
So then, what am I allowed? What's the quotient? Is there 2 meatballs? And if I have any more than that, I basically Christian Slater taking all of that caviar at that party Larry was at.
You eat, you drink, but you don't need to stand over and gorge and be on constant refill.
Yeah,
mode.
you don't need to be the guy that stands in the corner by the meatballs, eyeing people down when they're getting meatballs.
That never happened.
You don't want to be the guy who's standing in the corner where the service people enter in and out of. Right? You're just oh, that tray came out. You're just hawking them. Enjoy your night. There'll be plenty of food. But don't come on an empty stomach. That's essentially all you're being.
So basically I should just be very dainty. I understand.
But if there is, and if you're the first one there is an etiquette to how you are supposed to.
Are you allowed to bring containers for leftovers?
What?
Is that impermissible?
Tim's trying to beat the house.
Why would my leftovers be yours?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Would that be permissible to go to a party and bring Tupperware or whatever?
Yeah, you know what? I think you should go to every party
Jeff,
and do that.
The come hungry. If there's going to be that much food, then there'll probably be too much food. Is there any harm in showing up to there with some of that Tupperware and saying, look, you said come hungry.
Are you bringing the Tupperware in, or is it just in your car and the night coincidentally ends with them being do you want any food? And you're you know what? I've actually got a Tupperware. Let me go get that. But you're going to walk into someone's party.
Okay, you leave it on the front. No, okay, you're right. You leave if you drive, you leave it on the front seat. And then as you're winding down, you say, hey, you got a lot of food here. Do you mind if I take some with me?
I mean, I could be wrong. There's one I feel.
If I were hosting, I'd be delighted. Answer. By the way, if I was hosting, I'd be.
Delighted. You have all these things about if you host things. When's the last time you fucking hosted anything? Where you provided the food for people?
Wouldn't you like people to take the food with them?
No. You know what? If you show up to my party with a container, I'm going to take all the fucking food and dump it on the fucking floor before you leave.
Canada Day 3 years ago, Tim hosted with his
family.
Yeah,
and I cooked the food there.
I did not know that. I was pretty drunk there, so.
I feel like like the only time I've ever left a party with leftovers would have been like a party my parents threw. And it was like my mom being like, take this. The girls will eat it tomorrow. I'm like, okay, mom. But like someone else's party?
Well, it's when the party is over. Like you wouldn't do it during the party.
So you're first in, last out. You are like the guy teeing off leading on tour on Sunday. Who set the
when I'm leaving, whenever I'm leaving.
So now you get leftovers based on when you want to leave. Notorious
if it's
guy that doesn't stay
also-
till the end.
Also,
so like the drunk
only if it's
people,
clear.
the drunk like high people at the end of the night, like who have extended your lifespan at this party, will have less food because Tim took it home.
Only the stuff that it's clear that it's not going to be consumed.
Listen, you can
And
leave
you
that.
ask
You
or do
leave
have to
that.
be offered.
You leave. Yeah, you have to be offered. Is what I would say on this. Now,
Okay, but if I show up with the Tupperware, then
if you show up for the
subtly
Tupperware, I'm
saying-
going to burn your fucking Tupperware and kick you out of the party.
okay,
And you're not
cheap
joking.
fuck.
You are not joking. I might have crossed a line. Someone asked me, "Do I know you?" And I could have said, "No, I don't think we've met. Did you go to this summer camp in Ontario? I don't know where we would have met, sir. But no, I chose a different route, a not normal route." Tim is also like, you just, I let you make some ground and you just wash it away.
just inquiring whether I'm allowed to bring some to a party where there will be lots of food.
You're
It doesn't
not
have to be
requiring
this party.
it
No,
because
no,
it
It
doesn't
doesn't have to be.
you are
It
not.
doesn't have to be this party.
You
A
have
party in
not
general.
inquired either way to any of the things you've asked. You've asked for permission to do this, is what you've done.
Yes. Am I allowed to
No.
go a party?
No.
It doesn't have to be this one.
No.
But a party in
No.
general. Like
No.
going to
No.
the one with Geoff. Like the
No.
one Jeff's talking
No.
about. I think
I'm
that's
telling you
absolutely
it is
okay.
no, and you don't seem to get that through your fucking thick skull because you want it to be yes.
Walking
Oh,
into a
I do
party,
want it.
walking into someone's home, a party that they've thrown, and you walk in with an empty Tupperware might be one of the most psychotic things I've ever heard. in
Well,
the
you
culture.
don't. It doesn't have to be empty. You can bring something to the party. I'm using cam quotation marks here. But that
So this is your
Tupperware,
war gimmick.
that
This
is
is your
just
gimmick.
a front. It's just a Trojan horse for what you actually want to leave with, which is better stuff than whatever you brought, or equal value. So it's like the Tupperware Trojan horse. You bring something to the party, but you intend to leave with a full Tupperware container too.
I love you.
Paul?
I feel like this may be like positively racist, but like if it's an Italian that is hosting this party, you show up hungry because they like culturally just want to give you food.
What kind of what
Every Italian
when
thing
you're
I've
going-
ever
this
been
isn't
to,
a, but the
they
thing
like
is,
I almost think it would be polite.
this isn't a dinner party.
like if you don't show up, if you show up and don't eat anything,
it is a
they
party
feel
with an open
disrespected.
bar. People are walking around and you get some hors d'oeuvres. Like
Yeah, Pat's a Mick. Pat's a Mick. Like
Okay,
there's no way that. Yeah, it's not the
Tim
same
would
thing.
show
oh,
up
I'm
with-
sorry. I'm only spending $6,000 on this party. I'm the cheap one
okay.
now.
No, I'm just saying that like you have to know who's hosting the party.
Okay,
If Pat was
but think
Italian,
about-
you'd be able to eat whatever the hell you
What,
want.
what would you expect? You go to an Italian Christmas party at 9:00 in the evening. They fucking shoving lasagna in your goddamn mouth.
100%.
Ask
100%.
Pozzola tomorrow. We'll
You're
take it
going
up
home
with
with veal
Pozzola.
parmesans.
He'll take it up with Pizzola.
So many
But
veal
that-
cutlets.
Tim would show up. Tim would be at some Italian wake, and he'd be like, "Oh my god, this food is incredible! I have a Tupperware in my car. How am I going to get some of these Italian meats into this Tupperware while honoring this dead person?"
Well, this is why honestly, I think the right move is to ask permission. Do
You need
mind if?
to be offered. If you're not offered, fuck off.
Do not ask. I would, Tim. I'm just as a friend. It would be one of the worst looks ever.
If
to
you just said,
ask.
by the way, I love these meatballs. Do you
You
mind if I
set it
take a
up.
couple home? Do you mind if I take a couple home with
no.
me?
Well,
you say how
well,
much you love them,
And
you
also,
ask them where they're
based
from.
on your history, there will be no meatballs left.
You know what? I'm not going to have a single meatball
Really?
just to prove you all wrong.
Okay.
Chance.
I'll eat
This
other
is
stuff. I'll
like
eat other
you
stuff.
saying you're no. I don't believe you.
I'll eat
But I
other
didn't
stuff.
believe you when you said you weren't going to watch the second half of that Jets game, and apparently
I
you
didn't, and I didn't watch. And I didn't
well,
watch the next game either.
Do you know what I am getting, Tim? I'm getting 100 egg rolls from your favorite place.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, those are the best egg. All right, so 100 egg rolls.
100. He's doing the
How many
math.
do I have?
That could be like 6. He
Feel
could
like
get half
I
a dozen.
probably
He could get half a
I feel
dozen.
like if I had 2 egg rolls, that wouldn't be too many.
I agree. You could have 2 egg rolls.
But then, like, if they don't get all eaten, at what point are
But
egg
then
rolls not? Like, I'm willing to eat leftover stuff that other people would not be willing to eat. Like, I feel like leftover egg rolls that have been out for several hours is something that most people would throw out, but I would eat. So at that point, it's between the food going into the garbage or
You mean
going to
several
me.
hours.
I just feel like like
The
if there were 40 egg rolls left over, Patrick, what are you doing with those 40 egg rolls?
I will smash them in front of you.
Okay,
Maybe I'll. You know what? I
assume
might.
in a world-
I might.
In a world where I'm not there,
I might piss on them.
in a world where I'm not even there, what would you do with 40 leftover egg rolls?
I'd probably throw them out, or I'd probably offer them to people at the end of the night. Now, if you were
There you
there,
have it.
you would get some. But if you ask, by God, to anyone, you're not getting shit.
Yeah, but
Duly
look,
noted.
can you imagine?
Anyone.
being
That's.
at
I don't.
someone
Even,
else's-
I don't feel like that's a me thing, though, as Geoff tried to point out to
Yeah.
you.
No, and can you imagine being at someone else's party and like staring at their food and rationing it so you could get home with some? Like, you're at someone else's party.
I think that's a tremendous compliment to the host that their food is so delicious and they put on such a great spread that you want to take some with you. That's how good of a job they did.
I agree, but
Where
you also
if I put
you also
myself in the
wanna-
position of the host, I'd feel very flattered.
I agree for any normal guest, but when the person was caught on the internet wanting to kiss the chef of a MRE, me like, I don't know if this is like if that compliment means what it should coming from him.
Also, I used a new. Oh, this is actually pretty funny, Geoff. I used a new caterer for this year. And we actually did a trial run last week because it was my father-in-law's 70th birthday. So we got that catered as well with the same caterer. The food was okay. It was not as good as last year's food, just in terms of overall taste. But the meatballs showed up, and I bit into a meatball, and guess what it was, Geoff?
Frozen?
Raw.
That sucks. But because it's catered, to Tim's point about these coagulating egg rolls that sit out, like probably not. It's catered. They will like.
Oh, I'm going to get
reheat
the.
them and put
I'm
them
going
on a tray. And,
I'm going to get those ones myself.
Like-
But yes, they will be reheated throughout the night. Maybe I don't need 100. Tim makes a good point. Maybe I only get like 40.
oh, don't you just broke his heart, Pat?
Well, he just kind of made it seem like is there going to be that many left over? I'd rather them all be gone than have any left over.
But
Yeah, but you know there's a willing participant.
You
to take
won't
them
have
home.
any left over. There's no number you could quote that I wouldn't take if you offered.
What?
You want to take 30 home with you? Yes, I will. You want to take 40?
No,
home
no,
with
but
you?
I'm
Yes,
saying,
will.
but
You want to take 50
if
home
I,
with you? Yes, I will.
I'm sorry, Tim. If I don't want to end up spending an extra $100 or something like that,
no, I
I
appreciate that.
and I can just spend a
But
little
isn't it
bit
better to
less
have-
money. Apparently, everyone just wants
It's
to
better
take
to
all
have
my.
too many than
You just want
better to have.
It sounds like you just want to take
No.
advantage of generosity.
Absolutely not. I'm just saying it's probably better to have. I mean, I'm not even talking about your party specifically. I
Okay.
just premise this all by saying parties in general.
Coincidence.
What use is this to the listeners?
What
If
other
this is all just about me,
what other parties do you go to throughout the course of the year that are fully catered with full food?
None. But I'm just saying, what value is it to the listener just to hear me ask questions about what I can do at your party? I know what I can do and can't do at things you host. I'm asking general questions to be helpful for the people as they enter into the Christmas party season here.
You're the one who needs the help, but here's the thing. If Pat did give you 30, 40 egg rolls to take home, hopefully your Costco storage area is on way so you could leave some of them in there. You wouldn't have to. You're a single guy. What are you going to do with the 30 egg rolls? You could put some away into your storage bin.
They freeze, I bet.
Yeah, but you have no space. You already complained about that.
I would make space for 30 of those egg rolls.
Or you could
There's-
just go,
there's not an
or you could just go buy some for like $10.
I mean, I
Like
don't know
Tim,
how many
I
egg
see-
rolls would constitute a meal. Like, how many egg rolls would I have to eat before I'd say, okay, that's enough eating for now? 6?
Sure, 6.
But there are hosts, Tim, who like would love you to butter them up, tell them how good something is, and there's a good chance at the end of the like they'd be like, "Hey, we've got this left, take it home." But you can't ask. You cannot ask. Rule number 1 is not walking in with the Tupperware. That's like probably the most important thing. But also, you can't ask.
Okay.
I think a
Do
good
we-
rule.
well,
Of,
that's
I
why
think
I'm
a-
asking.
I think a good rule of thumb is don't show up with empty Tupperware to any party, expecting to get food out of it.
Well, if you know there's going to be
It doesn't,
surplus
Tim.
of
It doesn't
food.
matter. It doesn't matter. All of us have now just told you this. Believe us when we tell you that.
Okay. I believe you.
You don't though, because you're gonna show
No,
up
I
somewhere
do.
with Tupperware.
No, I won't.
You're like, do you got any extra food?
No, I wouldn't do that either.
But maybe
I'm
he'll
just-
circumvent. Will you ever circumvent Pat and just like ask his wife?
No, I would not do that. Because while she probably would be more amenable than Pat would be, as you can hear from the tone of voice, you know, sooner or later I would be discovered. Then I'd have to deal with it.
And then there would be wrath and fury.
There would be wrath. Like, you let him take what? How much did you give him?
I was gonna piss on those.
And then my chances of taking things home in the future are just simply dead to rights. So, that would be imprudent. No, you don't ask the spouse of the host if you're just trying to avoid the host.
Hold on. I liked how that's very clear in your mind that you wouldn't do that, but you had questions about showing up with empty Tupperware.
Well, yeah, I mean, because showing up with an empty Tupperware and asking somebody who's hosting is then you're just being direct. You're being honest. You might be being a bit blunt, but you're being honest. To go around the person who invited you to ask that person's significant other whether you can do the thing that the host that you're closest to would definitely tell you no is just sneaky. That's not right.
But let's not sugarcoat this, because in closing, close it anytime you want, but you were asking for permission, not advice.
I was wondering whether one could do such a thing, but that question has been clearly answered for me. Don't show up too hungry. Don't treat it like it's your meal. Have a few appetizers. Don't expect there to be leftovers for you to take home. Like we've talked about before, but a friend of ours had a wedding, and they had like this whole bunch of stuff in the bathroom that was there for people to use during the wedding. And like,
Tim cleaned them out.
As they were closing down the evening, it seemed to me it was fine if I took a couple of those things with me.
Took half a thing of gum or something like that, and just like
because the evening had at that point, like that was it. Last call.
So your pockets are full. Like you got a floss stick, a pack of gum, a breath savers.
No, he took the thing and like emptied it. How do you know that the people who whose wedding it was that paid for this stuff didn't want it? Did you ask them?
No.
So the people who owned it, the people who owned it, maybe they don't want it. I'll just take it.
They were fine with it.
It has a combined like cash value of like $8, but it's still very rude.
Well, no, it wasn't rude. And I didn't take everything. I took like 2 or 3.
If you dumped a bucket, I took
like 2 or 3 things. I took 2 or 3 things at the end of the evening.
2 or 3 things.
It was
Tim?
clear that they weren't going to be used.
2 or 3 things.
I don't have an itemized inventory here, but they were for everybody, and I'm a guest of the.
So you, main character Tim, are everybody.
I gave people multiple opportunities.
Well, everyone else had enough fucking sense not to dump the thing.
And like you don't know who's got to take another leak or a shit on the way out the door. Or someone might be, going for a makeout sesh who needs those breath savers.
Additionally, what Tim calls the end of the night is the end of the night for him. Usually not the end of the night for everyone else. There's stragglers who they don't leave.
So, long story short, I think we've learned some important. I hope that the people can take. Again, this is as much as you all wanted to make this about me and the specific party that I'm going to. It's really, I really wasn't asking it in that spirit. I really was curious about the general rules that apply to etiquette as it is to when one attends a party, not when I go to Pat's party, because I know how he feels about things.
I don't think there is a person in our audience who learned something from this that they didn't already know. That's how crazy your stance was. I don't think there's a single person who knew that didn't know that, like, wouldn't even consider walking into someone else's party with an empty Tupperware.
What about a full one?
Okay, your
If you were
Trojan horse thing is
Yeah,
clever. Like
okay,
you're bringing a dessert,
no.
you're bringing a cake.
Sure,
and
but
then it
what
works
if
out
what if Tim
perfectly.
showed up to this catered party with his own food that he brought in a Tupperware container? That's equally as crazy.
You thought it was fine when Tom Brady did it at Augusta.
That's not a party, Tim.
No, but like
Don't continue.
Unless
No,
you have
no,
some
Jeff, stop.
insane
Jeff, stop. Jeff,
allergy.
stop. Jeff, stop.
people do sometimes bring their own food to catered parties because
Do they?
want to eat the stuff that they have because they
Let-
for
let-
various reasons.
Give me some examples.
Like you may have allergies. Or be on a particular
You know,
dietary-
I said, give me some examples. When has this happened? That
I
you've
can
ever
imagine
seen?
if you're like really training, you've got to be very careful.
When was the
with
last
food
time
you're
you
eating.
have seen this happen? Give me an example.
I can't have one off the top
There's
of my head,
none.
but
There's none.
you can't imagine somebody like being a very strict training regimen who are incredibly attentive to everything that goes in and out with their macros that wouldn't bring their own food with them rather than eat what's there.
Yes, I don't think that happens because I don't think those people come because they're on such a regiment. They're probably in bed.
Or
So
came
are they serious about training or not serious about training?
Well, I would think it's more of like a medical thing. Like you have some like very strict dietary needs.
Or you're Jeff and you eat 3 things. And God forbid people buy you nice food to eat and you just turn your nose up at it.
I eat what I want. What are the 3 things? Weed, air.
No, but like basically chicken fingers and fries and burgers with ketchup.
I go
you're
to
offered
nice
beautiful meals, and I've
restaurants
seen you
all
look
the
at those
time.
beautiful meals and turn it down.
Yeah, texture can bother me more than taste. Like whatever. Some of it was beautiful. Some of it, what I tasted was yummy. Some of it I didn't want to eat. That's fine. You can look down on me. People who know me were like, "Oh, yeah, I think you ate more than I thought you would." So good job, friend. So listen, it's
well
all
behaved.
about.
Jeff was graded
It's
on the
all
Bryce Young level of eating expectations.
No, I'm rated on my own baseline, not like.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I'm
That's
not here
exactly
to
what I'm
compete.
talking
Yeah,
about. Bryce Young only gets compared to himself, not real quarterbacks.
Exactly. Fair enough. Oh, Tim.
All right, we got to power through these final games because Tim does have a hard out today, which is why we're recording this early. Sunday Night Football, Tampa and Dallas. Dallas is a 4-point dog at home in this game. Kind of worried, Jeff, that the Cowboys win this game. I just want the Bucs to win and cruise and win this division. It'll be so nice. And to have some of this money before Christmas would be even nicer right now. That if the Buccaneers can just get to their 9 wins, get over that win total, almost lock up this division, it would be glorious. And I think that they do that because the Bucs score a ton of points every week. I don't know if the Cowboys can keep up.
Having just like gotten a taste, I don't really feel like I have a choice. This one's being made for me. I guess they kept it in. Dallas. Yeah, I guess this was never going to get flexed. I'm taking Tampa. I can't. It's all even a blur. Who did Dallas even play last week?
They beat Carolina. Remember Carolina was favored in a game and all you guys were like, Carolina's an unstoppable train. I don't know how they could lose. And someone was like, they're not good and they don't win games. I don't forget who was who in that scenario, though.
We wait.
I
till you get to
remember-
the Carolina game then.
That being said, I like to feel like I get to take a middle ground for the purposes of picking in the show. I did take Carolina, but there are other people who like actually bet it and used it as a super lock. That's kind of wild, but full marks. Pat, you said it. All these guys lining up to bet Carolina because they saw something on TV for 40 minutes the game before. Good for you, Pat. I was thinking about you actually as that game got out of hand.
Which one of the 4 turnovers were your favorite?
They've, I'm Tampa. This almost seems too easy, though, right?
Yeah, it does. There's a few of them that smell this game, the Washington game, but fuck it. I just think
I
Tampa's
don't know. I was told Cooper Rush is so good.
better than Bryce. Better than Bryce
Cowboys
Young.
team is so skilled.
Yeah, when you have the
Was
better.
Cam saying that?
Well, that no, I said that. I said Cooper Rush better than Bryce Young, but I think that Baker is better than Cooper Rush.
I like Dallas here.
Why?
Honestly, I think Dallas has shown a little bit more offensive skill, and I think this game is going to be like a 23-20 type game.
That'd be
Tampa doesn't like do Fienbergs though. They just win and cover.
And they might. That's fine, but I'm going to take the Cowboys at home. Again, the Buccaneers, much like the Rams, people are starting around the corner on them as we get to the playoffs, thinking, oh, maybe the Buccaneers could be a sleepy underdog in the playoffs. And I think the world is going to be on Tampa Sunday night if they have a bad day, and Dallas could ruin their Christmas.
Out of respect to Tampa, they have quality wins, which can allow
sure
you
do.
to say,
They sure
like,
do.
maybe they can
Yeah,
do something fun for a couple.
No disputing that.
And I think it's going to go the other way. I don't think anyone's going to call them a frisky dog because I think they're going to be like 2-point favorites at home against Green Bay, and everyone's going to pick Green Bay, and Tampa's going to beat them.
That's
quite
very possible.
I would have put
right
Green
in the
Bay as
range,
like
yeah.
a slight favorite, but you may be right.
This game just feels so fishy because
Yeah, just I feel like Dallas is probably
Tampa,
the sharp side.
Tim isn't wrong.
Just like
there
Carolina
is a
last
lot
week
of-
against Dallas.
There is a lot of like peacocking finally. Like, Cam said it like more than a month and a half ago. I mean, you bet it, so you get the credit. But Cam, Tampa Bay has been like Rodney Dangerfield for like the whole year. And now all of a sudden, to kind of Tim's point, like Monday morning, people are like peacocking for Tampa.
Are they?
So I think so. I mean, maybe I'm online too much, but I think so. Yeah.
No.
Arizona and Carolina. The Cards are 4-point dogs. This is a better spot for them to be in. 4-point dogs at home against Kyler and Carolina. That makes sense. I don't know which side of the spread to take in this one, Geoff. What would you like to take?
Tim can go first.
Pats. I don't trust Arizona laying 4 points on the road right now. They still continue to look shaky and have for the last month. Last week notwithstanding. I will take the Panthers here. I think there's a outside chance the Panthers just win the game too.
How did Cam do last week with the bets?
I don't remember. Oh,
Because he was mad, but you guys
we're early here. I don't have everything tabulated yet.
No, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I only wanted to say he was so mad at himself that he wasn't allowed to use Carolina. And you guys, the example of you guys saving him and the rule saving him. This game is it feels gross. I think I'm just taking Arizona. I was almost going to say Carolina. I don't have a clue.
I'll take Arizona too. This game's not getting a cent of mine anyway. Tennessee and Indianapolis. Indy's 4.5-point favorites at home. If they win out, they could potentially save their season. Not sure who's starting in this game. Does anyone know if they're going to Mason Rudolph or are they going back to Levis?
I haven't seen anything.
That was on nearly negative QBR. They might have to go to Mason Rudolph.
Here I'll
All
take
right.
the Colts.
Does the spread change in your opinion?
No.
Probably not, right?
No. I mean, I'd probably like them to be... I don't know. It's weird. I feel like that if Levis plays an A game, they could win by margin against the Colts, whereas I feel like it's probably just a more competitive game. They probably cover more if Mason Rudolph starts. Because, the Colts had Denver beat last week until they didn't all of a sudden. But
Yeah, but Tennessee will just keep giving them opportunities over and over and over. I'll take the Colts. I don't feel great about it.
I'll take Tennessee +4 on the road. Geoff?
I'm taking Tennessee.
Okay.
But I don't know. Another game, I got no clue.
Giants and Atlanta. Tim was talking about this earlier, it's going to be a potential super lock for him on the Giants going against Kirk Cousins.
No.
The Giants did get to Lamar a few times on Sunday. It's just, when you don't do it every time, eventually he's going to throw all over you to just random dudes who are wide open 40 yards down the field. I don't know if it's going to be DeVito or Tim Boyle or Drew Lock or whoever's starting, but this is a lot of points, Tim, for Atlanta.
It's just too many. Atlanta's not playing good enough football to justify, in my mind, laying that kind of juice with them. No, thank you. I'll just pass. You don't have to take the Giants in this game if you don't want to. I understand the Giants are terrible, but no, I will pick the Giants against the spread because I just can't countenance Atlanta -10.
Don't worry, you don't bet any of the games.
I'm with Tim. I like the Giants, and I might bet them.
Feels like after watching what we watched last night, how can this team lay this number?
Because if you watch Baltimore versus the Giants, you'd be like, oh yeah, the Giants.
I actually went into that game yesterday thinking like Atlanta sucks, but they did outgain the Chargers by like so many yards. They outgained the Saints by so many yards. There've been bad losses, but maybe they're not like as bad as they've been. And they won, and I bet them, and they won and covered. But they're worse than I thought. Like, it's just lucky they played maybe the worst team in the league. All that being said, I don't know. I guess for the purposes of a swerve, I'll be the psychopath. They'll say Atlanta 10.
Cleveland.
Shit.
See, the move this week would be if the Giants could beat Atlanta outright and then Vegas beats Jacksonville. Then we have a whole cluster at the top for the first pick, don't we?
It is actually crazy. Last year, the Chargers got the 5th pick with 5 losses.
5 wins.
It is 5 wins. You're not even in the top, like, you're on the edge of the top 10 with 5 wins right now. There's so many bad teams.
Like there's a chance after this week, if Vegas and the Giants both win this week, that there'd be 1, 2, 7 teams tied at 3-12.
It's a very top and bottom league this year, more than usual. There's a bunch of teams at the very top. There's a bunch of teams at the bottom. They're very little middle tier teams, which is why there's not much of a competition really for the wild card spots.
Yeah, no parity. Like we always get parity in this.
No,
league.
this year there's just no parity. There's just good teams and bad teams.
Cleveland and Cincinnati. Not sure if Jameis is starting as of yet for the Browns. It's probably going to be him. It could be DTR. Nick Chubb out with a broken foot for the rest of the season. The Bengals, I mean, they almost didn't cover against the Titans last week, despite destroying them in the first half and doing nothing. They're favored by a touchdown. The coin likes the Browns. Do you recall how this series always goes? Like, do the Bengals always beat the Browns? I feel like the Browns are always competitive against the Bengals, Jeff.
Although they beat them earlier this year, the Browns
Done. Cleveland for me. +7.
I'm going to take the 7. I'm going to take the 7 as well. Are you
I'm not. I'm going to lay the Bengals, and I'll tease the Bengals.
Are the fantasy bros, are they talking about like anyone considering streaming Bengals D? Is that a thing?
No, because the Indy is available to stream, and the Packers are still available, and the Chargers are available too, which I thought was strange.
The Chargers they're gassed. They're empty.
How many offsides did Bosa have this week, Jeff?
One.
One. We watched that one.
I saw
Yeah, but
that.
I'm trying to
There
think
could
if
have
it was
been
an actual offside or they called it neutral. Whatever. It's won a game. He forced a fumble though. On the Rashad White fumble, it was amazing. So every time I want to yell at him, he usually does something in the game that makes me not want to yell at him. But I wonder how they speak to him about that. Because it's like, I mean, you could make a prop on it now. It's so fucking pathetic.
Yeah, but if you yelled at him about it, then he might have to leave the game with an ear injury because it was too loud.
No, not like actually yell. In my head, I'm like,
Well, what if it was what if it was Rizzy on the sidelines? He'd yell at him.
well, I wouldn't yell at Joey Bosa. Like, I don't think that's a good strategy for any human.
What, going offside all the time?
That's not a good. I don't understand. I just. Oh God! And honestly, like you watch a clip of Khalil Mack from a month ago and watch it now, he's like half. Like I don't understand. It's like slow motion. So we're gassed. We're dying.
Tim,
We're
when you have a hard out to get to the like a certain time, bringing up random Chargers things in other games is not a smart move.
No, the standard Bosa shrapnel. It's we got to get one in there.
San Francisco at Miami. Tim, do you think the Dolphins are going to enjoy having Tua for 4 more years?
I am. I tell you that right now. One team that did overpay their quarterback, one team that almost certainly will overpay their quarterback.
How much do you think that Purdy gets in the open market? He's not going to be a $60 million a year guy, is he?
He's going to. If Jared Goff made that much a couple of years ago, there's no way he gets less than what the Lions are willing to give Jared Goff, which was like
Hold on
in
a
the
second.
NFL.
No.
Yeah.
His contract is gonna be probably closer to like the Tua contract than like the
No
other
way.
end.
No way.
Yeah.
Tua had all the injury reasons to want to have that type of structured deal.
You think he gets more than Trevor?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to be.
You think he gets Herbert's contract?
Yeah.
wouldn't
Like Burrow's contract?
If
It
he
might be a
wants,
little bit less
if,
than
if
that.
the Niners won't pay him, somebody's gonna.
Like honestly,
Somebody is gonna.
if you were sitting there with a vacancy at quarterback right now, Jeff, would you rather sign Brock Purdy or Trevor Lawrence the same amount of money?
I really do like Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
The Raiders would just open up the checkbook if he was on the open market.
No, because they
the
have
Giants
they,
would
but
open up the
no,
checkbook
but they
if he
won't
were
because
from the
those
open
two
market.
teams
Of course
probably
they-
have the first and second pick. They don't need to do that. It's a tough.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's a tough market for quarterbacks going to free agency. Is the weird thing is no teams outside of the Saints maybe need a quarterback.
I was
We'll
actually
see.
thinking the same thing. If you try to figure out where Sam Darnold would go, it's hard because, like to Pat's point, those two teams are drafting, and then there's not that many places potentially. So there's not that many
Tennessee.
chairs. But
Tennessee is one.
yes, Tennessee, New
Pittsburgh is
Orleans,
one.
Pittsburgh could potentially still be one. Cleveland, but yeah,
But Cleveland
I guess
isn't
there's always-
Cleveland isn't one though because they're still playing Watson.
Yeah, I guess they can't actually pay. They can get a new quarterback, but they can't pay a quarterback.
Yeah.
So you're not wrong. Like Cleveland ends up like have like Justin Fields or something.
No,
Like, for
Cleveland
nothing.
probably like if the Saints probably buy out Derek Carr if there's not enough dead cap. They go and they sign Sam Darnold. Derek Carr pulls the Russell Wilson with Cleveland next year, and he's their quarterback. Where
I like Purdy.
I like Purdy too. I think he's all right. Like he's that Kirk Cousins tier of quarterback. Like not Kirk Cousins this year, but generally Kirk Cousins.
Like you think Purdy's, yeah, I guess. And Darnold gets like the broadcast even said last night. Darnold probably gets like a Baker deal.
But he does. I don't think they bring him back. You know, I think they. I honestly think they franchise him.
Just
Franchise Darnold to
why?
see. Because you need the bridge to McCarthy. Like you just drafted McCarthy in the top 10. You're gonna play him at some point, but he might still be injured like week 7 into next year because that rehabilitation's not going well. Like they're gonna move to JJ McCarthy sooner rather than later. So at least if Darnold does well this year, you get him for one more year. That means you sit McCarthy for the 2 years. It's Darnold's team next year. Then you see what happens.
Unless I'm forgetting something, a meniscus tear in August, September is not anything that's going to keep you from being ready.
Except for that something went wrong with it. Now he's out for even longer.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm misremembering a hiccup. Yeah, maybe they do tag him. That's a big number in the modern shtick, like with the current QB numbers. So that'd be an interesting one.
You can't get you can't get the 1 seed and then not bring back your quarterback, but you also can't sign him to 4 years and $160 million either. So what do?
You bring back good points. If you bring back fair points, you're the 1 seed. You may have to re-roll that sucker. It becomes like a Breeze fill up.
Yeah. Hopefully it's that good for it works out that well for the Vikings here. So the coin is taking Miami. It sounds like you're taking San Francisco, Tim.
Boy, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Give me San Francisco again. I have no feel on this game. I have no feeling either of these teams right now. They're both bad teams going in very bad directions. I will take San Francisco.
I'll take Miami, Jeff.
The best game Michael Staley's brother ever coached was 2 years ago against the Dolphins. So let's go 6th DVOA defense. You just confused the guy. If he's got to throw it like 12 yards downfield, Benjamin Solak put out some videos from Tua's like progressions and holy shit. Like there's alarming stuff he put on tape last week.
And don't forget you want to talk about DVOA defense. The Texans are number 1. Very good.
Oh yeah, they disguised the shit out of it. Yeah, they confused the shit out of him, and they disguised it well. It was nice to see them get off the mat a bit.
Monday Night Football, Saints and Packers. Packers are 13.5-point favorites at home against the Saints, and I'm assuming are starting the Rattler at quarterback, who crushed my soul last week. I like the Packers at home, 13.5.
I do too. Too many. I know it's a lot of points. It seems like too many points, but I don't know. I've been picking against Green Bay the last few weeks, and it really hasn't been working. So I'm going to pick them this time.
I told Adam on the Sunday night shows, I will not convince myself that although he looked really good in the second half, just don't buy into the fact that Rattler's actually any good. Just bet against him too. Now that teams know that he's playing quarterback, it should be a little bit easier for them instead of getting Hainzer out there.
It was such a strange second half because they still should have just beaten the tar out of them. And the way that they just maul up front, do those Packers, like they're going to just run it down their face in a way Washington couldn't or was choosing not to do. I think they get this number. This is going to be a horrifically boring football game. The Saints are going out of that dome at nighttime at Lambeau. Like it's Packers by 3 touchdowns.
Like lost in the Washington thing were the 3 like long touchdowns that McLaurin could have had, but there was also at least 3 roughing the passer penalties in the second half that Washington took to just extend drives on third down. It was like, what is going? It felt like the fix was in.
Dropped interceptions too. Yeah. I mean, let's not go back to the running clock if you want to fix him. But just such a strange half and strange coaching and time management from Dan Quinn as well. So many sacks though. That was hard to ignore, right? How many sacks the Saints got on?
But they were all revenge sacks from Chase Young.
He was looking fair enough. Maybe it's a bad omen. Because I feel like the world laid the points against the Saints last week and they covered. And I don't know how anyone could want to lay these points or take these points. None of us are. Maybe it's a trap, but I don't give a shit.
All right, let's move to Tim. You want to recap your free money 6-point teaser this week?
Yep. Jets, Lions, Bengals, Ravens, Chiefs.
Pays 4-1.
Sure does.
All right. You were out of the hole for the year, but now you're back into it. So this will put you up bigly now. So SUPERLOCKS, Geoff, you were correct last week, so you can go first. I see that you're prepared.
Didn't even think I mentioned. I didn't mention a single game as one that I truly loved this week. Call it crazy. And all of us were dumb enough to be on the same side. No one's cost me more money. I'm going to ride them again after last week's SUPERLOCK. The Jets at home. I think they're winning that game outright. Tim.
Well, we're doubling up.
Title.
We're doubling up.
Oh, God. You're in too.
Oh, yeah. I'm in.
I don't think you haven't used them as a SUPERLOCK at all, I think.
I don't know that I have, but I feel better about them in this game than I have in pretty much any game all year.
I'm the dumber one of the two of us. I mean, that's obvious, but I'm the one that's actually going to lose money, that has lost money on this team, that will lose more money. The money I won last week, we'll lose it right back. The Jets.
Yeah, well.
I am going to take...
I don't even know what games you mentioned were in consideration through the show.
I think I just like Tampa. I'm going back to Tampa, -4 against Dallas on Sunday night.
What are you even deciding between?
It's that. I really like Minnesota in Seattle. There's just so many home dogs this week that it kind of terrifies me a little bit. But yeah,
Cam will be excited.
Yeah, I'll take Tampa -4 on the road in Dallas.
Seem to like the Chiefs.
I do like the Chiefs, but I do worry that I'm betting on Carson Wentz. I'm also going to put hard-earned money on this game that I would like to at least have a chip in a chair and not watch 5 minutes of the game and be like, oh no, what have I done? I don't. At least with Baker, he'll throw some picks, but then he'll throw some touchdowns. It's not going to be an abject failure for 100% of the game, where that could be the case against the league's best defense for Carson Wentz.
And to Tampa, because the Chargers not capable, clearly the Raiders the week before aren't capable. They're having a turnover problem. They're just not playing teams that can
do anything.
Or they score many points, it doesn't even matter in the end. So good for them.
They had that earlier on in the year. I think the game where they scored 52 points against the Saints. I think Baker had 3 picks and a fumble in that game. It didn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Like once you saw it last week, it happens every week. Once they're like sometimes their offense looks disjointed, but once it hits a rhythm, it goes.
Whoa. Yeah. And we're depleted on the back end, and Baker was just firing, picking on guys, picking on a dead fish. Love it. Good for him.
All right, that will do it.
Well, I wasn't
on
happy about it.
The Pat Mayo experience. Want to thank Jared and Paul behind the camera, the coin for being here, Jeff's new haircut, and of course, soon to be owner of a fridge full of leftovers, apparently, Tim Andercust.
That's not my name.
I'm glad you've worked through your etiquette issues for parties. I wish you the best in your future party endeavors.
I've learned a lot. Well, maybe no one else learned anything from that conversation, but I actually did. So,
Geoff, I don't know if the show's going to be out by the time this starts, but I bet on Brooks and Bryson. I think I'm the only person in the world who did that.
I bet on Rory and Scheffler. I laid minus 148. It didn't feel good. It was more than I wanted to lay, but I bet for fun. It's a hobby. Not every bet needs to be plus EV. I can't even believe I bet this thing, but I did.
I just feel like Bryson's the only person who's going to take this seriously. It means more for the live guys to beat the PGA guys, and you're getting plus 140. This was my take on it.
I guess. I mean, Scheffler's in form though, so that was like my take on it.
I mean, guys always in form. I mean, Bryson's in form. He finally got that hole in one over his house.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, it should be good. I hope I don't like it enough where like I feel compelled to watch like so much of it, but it'll be on in the background. It's popcorn.
All right. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want you to smash the like, sub to the channel, play in the Fantasy Golf Championships at, get this, fantasygolfchampionships.com. You get in, and I will release the way that you can get in the draw for a Christmas giveaway of a free entry, but you need an entry already to qualify for that draw, all right? Code Mayo at Underdog will get you a free pick for the Pick'em game, plus you'll get a deposit bonus of up to $1,000. NFL playoff best ball, PGA playoff best ball, or not playoff best ball, PGA best ball for the season. There's a lot going on, so get over to Underdog right now and code Mayo. And listen, if you're traveling, if you live in like Michigan or Ontario or Iowa or one of those places that doesn't have like where you can do the one and done, if you are leaving for the holidays and you go to a state where they do have it, you can sign up and pay there and then make your picks from wherever, right, Geoff?
Anywhere. I can't wait. Come take my money. Tim's in. Doesn't he usually have a caddy make his picks because he doesn't know how to work the internet, right?
I'm just not good at the internet in general.
Bad at the internet. That's tough. Tough scene.
I'm seeing some leaked schedules for the Saturday game, Geoff. Looks like you're just getting the Saturday triple header. You're getting the early game.
I'm playing on the Saturday.
I'm seeing people tweet out you're going to get the 1:00 Eastern game on the Saturday against the Patriots. Nothing's been confirmed beyond Washington being and Atlanta being flexed to the Sunday night game next week. But
so that means we got to fly out on.
Yeah, it's starting to look like I'm seeing people talk about the triple header, and it certainly seems like, yeah, you're getting the Chargers Patriots Saturday 1:00 Eastern game. Broncos Bengals afternoon and Cardinals Rams Saturday night.
What day of the week is it? I mean, sorry,
Saturday.
day of the month.
Saturday.
No, like what? Like I'm away, but
28th,
the 20.
28th.
Now I've got to ruin two people's days. I mean, 2 days. Okay, it's fine.
You already ruined Michael Staley's day.
Yeah, he ruined Michael Staley's year. What's
He'll
left
get
of it?
over it.
I don't know.
He'll get over
I
it.
mean, why do you know that? Because you know him so well?
Listen, just I don't know if this will make it in. But if you are, hey, no, I don't know you. Why do you think you know me?
We are going to have to bleep that.
We don't have to, again, Tim, we don't have to bleep anything.
We ought to.
This is why people subscribe to us on Rumble.
Mayo Media Network does not think Brennan Staley or anyone affiliated with Brennan Staley
Yeah,
is a
No, I didn't. I said it as an example. Like I wasn't saying that. I was just saying like you're not. I don't always have flowers, even if the question is fair.
There you go. That will do it on the Pat Mayo canceled experience. Thank you all for watching. Sub to the channel, smash the like while you're here, and subscribe to the audio podcast. Rate, review, and subscribe, and download the golf episodes, even if you don't like golf. But hey, maybe you give golf a chance this year, because it just means more of me and Geoff talking crazy. All right? I will see you next time.
Pat Mayo experience. Experience.